And there we go. Testing, testing, 1 2 1 2. Is this thing working?
I can't tell you.
Oh, well. I did just notice just before coming on stream the special magical audio settings in our conferencing software. I hadn't actually set them up, so I might have to tweak you. Might have to tweak your volume levels just slightly as we go, Dudley. Oh,
That's good. Good
oh,
evening now.
hello. We have a first-time chatter. Nice to see you here.
Now it's from Ashen's Discord.
Oh, good grief. We have what host Snorkers is with us? The man, the myth, the legend. I'm hoping that Dudley's going to take you through a selection Sunday supplements.
I think there's more sensible content in the Sunday supplements. I can't speak for what you have planned for me.
I have vague recollections of Sunday supplements. I remember my grandmother used to get them, and I'd occasionally read them out of curiosity and think like, yeah, is this porn? What's going on?
Yeah, you just read them for the pictures.
Yeah, I did. That was the crazy thing, because I was always thinking like, oh, this interesting article here on the coffee problem in China. Oh, now it's saying hello. And laughing as well. That's good. That's good.
It's always a good start. If they start laughing, it means that the crying won't seem so sudden.
Now it says that they were a bit like that. I'm glad it's not just me. I'm glad that my recollection wasn't just.
My parents bought the Daily Mail, so it's probably not best to speculate on the content of the particular Sunday supplements in question.
It's a shame we're live, Dudley, because I feel like we should edit that out.
Best black coats, that kind of thing.
Snorker says that the Sunday supplements are where he learned the word demure.
What Volkswagen to buy if you needed an open top tour of Berlin? You know, the usual.
Weren't they about holidays? I think on the covers they were like about holidays and things. But once you started reading the articles, it was like, I never knew that things like this could happen to a guy like me. But
Though these days that's covered by Chat magazine, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know. I'm pure and pure, so I don't know about these things. So. Anyway, we better. We should sort of make some concession of sort of saying hello to our audience. We've got like a bit of a quickly pulled together stream here. I don't know if any of our viewers tuning into this expecting tabletop role playing content might be thinking this isn't a game. Safe to say we've had a bit of a time of it in 2024. So things are kind of how should we put this?
Tabletop content exists,
Yeah,
just not in a form in which we can let people see it as yet.
that's probably the most diplomatic way of putting it. Yeah, rest assured, we have got stuff in the pipeline. There are things that we've teased, which are still coming to you. We just got to get them all finished and like recorded and properly edited. And I have a feeling that 2025 is going to be a year for us because
some of it's bloody good.
We're
some
working
of it's
some
garbage,
stuff out.
but skip over those bits.
We're doing a thing at the moment where I don't think I've laughed as much. Yeah, in a condensed span of 120 minutes.
Which, when you get to it, is why this, which I'm not going to explain tonight.
Yep, just put that front and centre on the camera for the viewers at home. Give them
Trying to work out, because you've got the framing slightly different to my camera. There we go. I think that's front and centre. Although, as you can see, my hastily printed out label has suffered since the recordings.
Well, I mean, without giving anything away in those sessions, some things have happened.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Your character has gone through some stuff.
Yes, but he found the medicine balls.
I'll have to consult the edit because I'm not.
I definitely used that enough times you can't possibly have cut it entirely. This is the trick, by the way, folks. If you're ever in anything like this that's edited, if you want to get something in, say it at least 10 times because you can't cut all of them.
I know. I've had moments during the little bit of editing that I've been doing recently where I've been thinking, I'm getting to a certain age. Is my brain going? Because there's things I swear I've cut out and they come up several times. But whatever. Let's just do a little.
It's because I'm wise to your tricks, like editing out the gold.
We have a list of the great and the good in our viewers watching us tonight. I'm not gonna be so crass as to name names of lurkers, but thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope this is going to entertain you all. Right. So what are we going to do tonight?
Yes.
Dudley, I believe you've got something special for us to look forward to.
Yep. After you've ruined me with whatever it is you've been teasing on Discord the last couple of days. I have one of the worst examples of a gaming magazine to show off and talk you through exactly how awful this is.
Oh, awesome.
For those that remotely know the story, it is a late issue of the one for Amiga games. But I'll explain why that's important when we come to it.
Now, I don't know this story, but I'm interested in it because I used to read the one where back when I had my Atari ST.
And so you read the one for, was it back then the one for PC, Amiga, and ST? Or
it was
briefly, there was briefly the one for ST games as a single format.
There was, but by that point, I think I'd fallen off the thing. I think I was.
So had everyone. That's why it lasted a year.
Yeah. We have another first-time chatter in chat. We have welcome to Hell 5. Hello to you. I did actually notice as I was setting the stream up because I had my my stream alerts set up for this one. I did actually notice that Welcome to Hell actually whacked the follow button on us. So thank you for that. We've actually picked up a couple of new followers before the stream, which is really nice. So, we do this stuff for you guys. The whole thing with Doom Colonist as a thing, because this is I'm going to put the brand of Doom Colonist content on this. The whole thing with this is to entertain you guys and hopefully give you something to smile about. And because it's safe to say the news is a dumpster fire at the moment.
You know what the nice thing about that is? Anyone can watch this in any of the previous half decade and probably the next half decade, and that won't age a bit.
Yeah, it's called Universal Appeal. There's like that little dialogue link I've made there. That is gonna, that's gonna bridge the gap between us and viewers in other countries. There's gonna be guys like in like Eastern Patagonia going, "You bueno, yes." So, we have another first-time chatter.
We're starting on the accents early, are we?
Mais non! Why would I do a thing like that?
The guy from Star of Kabul.
Exactly.
Yes, my favourite Greek restaurant.
We've got Alessandra ZPE and El Profo in chat. Profo says, yesteryear before print media was dead, those were the days. They really were.
Yes. I posted on Blue Sky an image of Tesco's gaming magazine section during the week. And unfortunately, what it was a picture of a copy of Retro Gamer. That's it.
Snorkers says, I watched a film where it talks about all kinds of bad things happening. And then it goes, it's 1980.
I was born in 1980, so I take that point.
Good grief. That makes me feel old. I'm a child of the 70s.
Wow, I'm the youngest one on stream.
Wow.
That's rare.
Well, what we're gonna do?
Yeah.
Tonight, I'm basically dusting off some old shtick that I did way back when I started streaming, and what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go down a little bit of a rabbit hole. We're gonna go on a roller coaster ride, which is like a thing that personally has given me a great deal of entertainment for free over the years. We're going to look at some ridiculous reviews of numerous products.
Okay.
That in some cases are still available to buy on Amazon. Not that we would recommend that you actually buy them. But we've got a range of things. I've actually queued up more here than we might actually need. But there's a couple of evergreen classics. There's a couple of things that I have featured on the stream before, and there's at least one brand new one, which is just gonna. I've been aching for an excuse to share this with people. But I'm gonna kick us off.
Is anyone else worried?
Trust me, Dudley, I'm worried. I'm gonna kick us off. First of all, with a look at an end of the Amazon product review milieu. That is, it's like it's the kind of thing. It's the deep end of the pool that gives me a lot of pleasure because, like, I don't know about you, Dudley, but I'm a guy who likes my movies.
Okay.
Yeah,
and I could have gone one way or the other, but okay.
I like movies to be of a certain sort of standard of quality. I like them to reach a baseline of being like decent and watchable. And I'm gonna let you in on a universal secret about Amazon product reviews. If you go to look at Amazon product reviews to work out whether that Blu-ray or that DVD that you're thinking about buying is worth the money, you're wasting your time. Because Amazon reviews are written by who?
Normally idiots, but my other guess is people who were paid to write Amazon reviews, because I know of several variants of the scam that makes that possible.
Well, a little bit of trivia for you. I was actually offered a spot on the Amazon review program, whatever they call it, and I just thought, I can't. I just can't. It's just a good conscience. I can't. But we'll start off.
All right.
We're going to take a look at a fairly well regarded film from not too long ago.
Okay.
It's this one.
Okay, that's a fairly well regarded half a film from not long ago.
Yep, from 2021, in fact.
I always thought they should call part 1 DU and part 2 NE.
Have you seen Dune by any chance?
Not that version of, no.
Really? Right. Okay. Right. I'm just gonna sort of set the scene, and I'm gonna recommend that you watch this because I'm quite a fan of Dune as a franchise. So I read all the books when I was younger. I've just recently got them on my Kindle to read them again. I think it's a really fun, really interesting series of books. Terry and Dune. What Host Snorker said. Can you imagine?
I'm much better on the games, but let's do this movie first.
All right, the games are a mixed bag. They're a mixed bag. But the thing about Dune, I think Dune from 2021, I think as a film, it's okay. A lot of people, they lost their minds over it. They said it was the greatest thing ever. I wasn't entirely sold, but I thought it was very good. I mean, I remember the 1984 Dune with Sting and what's his face, Patrick Stewart and Dean Stockwell, and they're all in it in that one. And that's fun. I don't think it's a good film. I thought this was a better version of Dune. But let's see what people on Amazon make of it. I mean, we'll start with this one. Mr. R.G. Redmond gives the film a 1-star review and says, even worse than Gravity, and I didn't think that would ever happen. He says, first time to the cinema in near 2 years, and I sit through the longest, almost 3 hours of my life. Literally nothing happened. Okay, right, that's a significant part of this review. Just remember that, Dudley.
Okay.
Literally nothing happened.
Yeah.
That's the claim that Mr. Redmond makes.
Yeah.
He said, and he backs that up. He says, just some sand moved, and that's it.
Well, that's already something. So,
okay,
Mr. Redmond,
right.
Sit down.
So you can't say. I mean, he's already defeated his own argument there.
Yeah.
But he says, I thought Gravity was bad, where they float in space with nothing happening for the full time. Gravity, another film I think is actually pretty good. He says, quite easily the worst film ever. And not just cinema released, I'm talking worse than B-movies and even student movies. They might have bad acting and low budgets, but at least they have stuff happen. I more than once considered leaving, but kept thinking something might happen, but no, it never did.
Okay.
Right.
Sidebar, the one thing I remember about Gravity, because I haven't seen that film, is someone took a picture of a poster for the film of it that had fallen off the wall, and I quite enjoyed that.
That's top tier. What Host Snorkers says, Dune would have been better with Rummel and Monty. I think you're going to have to explain that to me sometime, Snorkers. Right. I'm just... You can already see why I've featured that review. Right? Mm-hmm. Mr. Redmond says that literally nothing happened. Now, Dudley, before the stream, I asked you to pull up the Wikipedia entry, which has got a full plot synopsis.
It does.
Now I'm going to...
And I've edited Wikipedia, so it's empty.
Oh, why would you do such a thing? Perhaps you could be so kind as to just read this for us, paragraph by paragraph, and we'll see if this dovetails with Mr. Redmond's claims.
Are you going to stop me at the point that literally something happens?
No, just if you could just read just the first paragraph, right. And then we'll stop for a second.
Let's get my talking stance.
Okay.
In the distant future, Duke Leto Atreides is assigned by the Padisha Emperor Shaddam IV, I don't remember any of these names, this is going to be horrible, to replace Baron Vladimir Harkonnen as the fief holder of Arrakis?
Arrakis, yep.
A harsh desert planet and the sole source of spice.
That's space
a valuable psychotropic substance that imparts heightened vitality and awareness, and is probably now sold by Alex Jones.
Probably.
Spice is also key to interstellar travel, giving Spacing Guild's navigators the ability to guide starships and to traverse space instantaneously and safely. Emperor Shaddam, fearful of Leto's rising power, plots for House Harkonnen to retake Arrakis, secretly aided by his Sardaukar troops, and destroy House Atreides. Leto is suspicious of the Emperor, but weighs the risk against the power of controlling Arrakis and making an alliance with its mysterious natives, the Fremen.
Okay.
This sounds like things happening to me.
It does sound like there are things happening. There's quite a
there
rich...
There are at least 3 things happening there.
I know, there's quite a rich sort of backstory going on there. I mean, I got to say as well, like, kudos on the pronunciations. They were all very good. The only one I'd pull you up on is that it's Sardaukar, not Sardaukar. Sardaukar is like a puzzle that you do in boxes with mathematics. It hurts my head.
Yeah, that guy with the number on his hat.
Yeah, I just...
And another one on his pants.
Alessandro ZP says there are maybe even 4 things happening there.
Yeah. And the thing is, that's not the whole plot summary, is it?
No, but let's just look at what we got there, right? We got what sounds like a very grand feudal system. This huge intergalactic society. We've got Space Ganja there. We've got the spice.
Is it Ganja, or are we going full cocaine on this one?
It's well, I think the best way to sort of summarise that is that I was asked once by a friend. They said to me, "Hey, this Dune film seems to be getting good reviews. I hear it's a book. Should I read it?" And I was like, "Well, it's not for everyone, but maybe." And she said to me, "Okay, well, what is it about?" And I said, "Well, it's about the war on drugs." And she goes, "What, really? Really? What, the US war on drugs?" I said, "No, it's about a war on drugs."
Very good.
I must apologise to chat because I'm missing comments here. That's bad form for streamers.
Oh, dear.
El Profo asks, is Arrakis actually Space Bolivia?
That's kind of where I'm going now. At least Space Columbia, maybe.
Technically true, says Alessandro. Read the books. Read the books. I mean, or again, if you've already read them, it's just you'll be amazed how true it is.
That one would be again, but I've got a couple of holidays coming up, so maybe it's time to have a reread.
Yeah, but yeah, you've got quite a high stakes setup there. We've got galactic emperors, we've got we've got transfer of power. Like this whole thing, this fiefdom of Arrakis, that's actually a big deal. That's like we're talking like regime change is going on there, or maybe not regime change, but a notch down from that. It's big stuff, but no, according to Mr. Redmond, nothing happens. Perhaps
I would describe all of that as literally plot.
Yeah, I mean, that all seems kind of significant. Perhaps you could be so kind as to read the second paragraph of the Wikipedia write-up.
Second paragraph of plot, you're spoiling it. There will be a short pause as I just check a couple of hyperlinked words. Okay, Leto's concubine, Lady Jessica, is an acolyte of the Bene Gesserit.
Bene Gesserit.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, an exclusive sisterhood whose members possess advanced physical and mental capabilities. As part of a centuries-long breeding program, well, that kind of stood on my they instructed her to bear a daughter whose son would become the, I hate you, Kwisatz Haderach?
Kwisatz Haderach. Yeah.
Fairly certain that's something you order in the local chippy.
Or as I've taken to calling
messianic super being.
Okay.
With the clairvoyance necessary to guide humanity to a better future. Jessica disobeyed and bore a son, which is not how biology works, but fine.
Okay.
Paul, who is trained by Leto's aides, Duncan Idaho. Oh, come on. Gurney Halleck. These are names from the Parts bin, HDE. And the Sook Doctor, Wellington Yue.
Spot on.
And the Mentap Thufa
Yep.
Hawat.
Very good.
This is why I'm reading it, isn't it?
Yep.
And she teaches him Bene Gesserit disciplines. Alessandro's heard me try to read Italian. He's used to this. Paul confides in Jessica and Duncan about troubling visions of the future, confiding being something that is famously plot.
Yeah.
The Reverend Mother and Imperial Truthsayer, Gaius Helen
Mahayam.
Mahayam? Right. Subjects Paul to a deadly Gomjabar test. Isn't that the one where they kick you in the nuts? Anyway.
That's a Rochambeau.
Humanity. That's the one. I keep forgetting. You're over here at the moment because I'm reading this. Normally you're here. So if I'm pointing at this, no, I'm pointing at you.
It's fine. I'm reading the Wikipedia article. I can't see.
Humanity and impulse control, which he passes. We're a third of the way through this, people. Also, that is definitely plot. It's absolutely batshit plot, but it's plot.
It's plot. It's plot. Let's just go back and examine how much plot. All right.
Okay. All right.
Right. Leto's concubine, Lady Jessary, blah blah blah, is an acolyte of the Bene Gesserit. Okay. Right. So we've got like state level romance.
She's been introduced as a thing.
Yeah.
Something happening.
Yeah. And like in a very significant detail, which shows how progressive 1960s or I think this was 1950s. Maybe I can't remember.
I'd have to go check.
Yeah, but this is how progressive
Old.
science fiction of that era was. It had women in it.
Well, this is what I say when everyone says Star Trek's gone woke. I'm like, have you seen the original pilot?
but yeah, just to absorb that we've got like state level romance, and where there's state level romance, there is always intrigue. We've got the Bene Gesserit, which is like, it sounded a little bit like a cult. Whenever there's cults, there's like things tend to happen.
He was good in the Italian Job.
Oh yeah. And you've got this centuries-long breeding program to arrive at the messianic super being, the Knick-Knack Paddywhack. So they're making a space Jesus. But nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. No, according to Mr. Redmond, nothing's happening. Just a bit of sand moving about, nothing's happening.
Nothing has happened to Space Jesus.
Oh, hang on a second. Just checking chat. We seem to have had a little bit of an upset. Oh, Dorfid is in here. Dorfid from the Fluffy Hat. Your comment was deleted and you got timed out.
As I imagine that there was a swear in it, and Automod's an idiot.
Nah, Automod has done some strange things over here in the past, despite my messing about with the settings. So if people are getting zapped, I am sorry. I am aware that it's a thing. I will look into it further. Like I say, I have checked it out in the past, and it does seem to do some really odd things.
Unless, of course, you badmouth the Master System, at which point you will be timed out.
Oh yeah, it's the ban. Sorry about that, Dorfid. Please, if you're out there, I hope you stick around and try again, because it's weird. It's weird. You were all insightful and articulate and everything. I know. Oh, man.
Dorfith, I've met your Fluff and Hammer colleagues. I'm not convinced.
It's always the best ones. Automod always goes for the best ones. It's
There it is. It's overreacted to a swearing.
Dorfid, you've sworn at me more than once.
I've sworn at you more than once tonight.
Let's check back on the plot of Dune.
Shall I go for paragraph 3 of 6? This movie without a plot.
Let me just see. I'll just want to see in the second paragraph if there's anything that we glossed over there that might be significant. Along lines of like things actually happening in the film.
Oh yeah, the film.
Yeah, Lady Jessica bears a son. Bears a son to Duke
Which
Leto.
apparently is disabale, but hey.
Yep. it's not on. Very serious in the book. You'd know that if you'd read that, Mr. Redman. So she bears a son, and she has this cast of guys with incredibly colourful names, teach him the ways of the Bene Gesserit. Teaches him like proper like cult stuff.
Every day's a school day.
And then Paul confides in Jessica and Duncan. Duncan's one of the best characters in the entire series, by the way. Confides in them that he started having visions of the future.
Well, I mean, she's supposed to be a clairvoyant. If she wasn't having visions of the future, I would suspect she's about to get fired.
Yeah, I mean,
it's in the job description.
Kind of a prerequisite, isn't it?
I mean, I know Duncan Idaho is named like a wrestler, but he's probably not that stupid.
Yeah, I was actually bought a Duncan Idaho action figure once by a friend, and I was very pleased because it meant that I had my own private Idaho.
I knew something was coming, and yet nothing prepares you for it.
Sorry, tumbleweeds just went past there.
Need a sad trombone sound effect.
So there we go. We've got like visions of the future going on, but that's not significant, obviously.
No,
I mean,
that's literally nothing happening. And to be fair, if it's visions of the future, that is technically nothing happening in the present. So we probably have to give Mr. Redman that one.
And then the Reverend Mother, like Gaius Helen Maham, subjects Paul Atreides to this Gom Jabbar test, which is like you might have seen this, Dudley. It's the part where he goes in and he has the meeting where he has to put his hand in this box which simulates excruciating pain, like his hand is being burned. And what's funny about that is I remember watching this version of Dune with my old man, and in that scene, it's done quite a bit better than it is in the 1984 Dune. And my old man looks across at me and he says, "You know what would make this even better? If it was done with the characters from Nacho Libre." And that we just had to stop the Blu-ray at that point because we had like 20 minutes of like, "Put your hand in the box, young Nacho," and my dad going, "I don't want to put my head in a box." And just if you can see it, you can see it.
I'd watch that film.
Welcome to Hell 5 says, "Let's be honest, Dune is probably less misogynistic than Stranger Than Stranger." Robert Heinlein got creepier and creepier the longer he went on. Seriously, man. Stretchy pants, says what Snorkers.
I'm not sure that's Snorkers commenting. I think that's just his shopping list.
It might be. Are we sure there's not been a Mexican knockoff of Dune with luchadors?
I'm neither racist enough nor Spanish enough to come up with a joke.
If you can find it, we will happily feature it. But yeah,
Mr. Redman's probably reviewed it.
Let's crack on with this. Perhaps you'd like to read paragraph 3?
I certainly would, and I organised my windows more sensibly. House Atreides arrives at Arrakeen, which is basically the same name again, the principal stronghold on Arrakis. Duncan's advance party has made contact with the Fremen. The natives revere Paul and Jessica, which she explains is due to the Bene Gesserit sowing beliefs on Arrakis centuries earlier. So both past and future we've got here.
Yeah.
An attempt to assassinate Paul with a hunter-seeker fails. Now, I'm guessing that's not just a Nerf gun. At a secret meeting on the Harkonnen planet, Gedi Prime?
That's actually pronounced Geddy Lee. The movie was, in itself, extremely prescient in that it predicted the awesomeness of the progressive power rock band trio Rush. So, like, there's a lot of people think that it's meant to be pronounced Gedi Prime, but it's Geddy Lee. It's always Geddy Lee. So,
sure, I'm not going to remember that. Moyam insists Baron Harkonnen spare Paul and Jessica in his coup, to which he duplicitously agrees. Intrigue.
Okay, yeah.
So strong component of
plot. Yes. So we seem to have like religious manipulation of the masses going on there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but I would say that's quite a.
I believe it fulfills the technical definition of something happening.
It does have a kind of a sort of an air of significance about it, doesn't it?
It does.
Please.
Almost worth 1/6 of a movie, I would suggest.
Please continue with the next paragraph.
Okay, scrolly. Scanning for words, better than the previous paragraph. We're okay. Leto meets and negotiates with Fremen chieftain Stilgar. He pauses.
That's right.
And meets the Imperial Judge of the Change, Dr. Liet Kynes,
Yep.
a planetologist who lives among the Fremen. Kynes briefs them on the dangers of spice harvesting and the giant sandworms that travel under the desert and render unwise the use of protective shields. Never mind. During a flight.
During a what?
Well, I was going to say fight because that would have worked. During a flight, they rescue a stranded spice harvesting crew from a sandworm, and Paul's exposure to the spice triggers intense premonitions.
Okay.
Plot.
The most significant part of that paragraph, I would say, is the disclosure that Arrakis, the planet Arrakis, has got bloody massive sandworms in it that tunnel under the earth and erupt out of it and like eat things. Like, not just little things, we're talking like spice harvesters. Which
to
are like,
be fair, if everyone else is on the spice, those sandworms are off their fucking head on spice.
Those spice harvesters are like how to describe them? It's like a tractor if the tractor was the size of a factory. So like that's kind of dramatic, wouldn't you agree?
I would, yes.
I
would suggest the sandworm trying to eat them would be something happening.
We have another first time chatter. Is that Geordie Glasgow or Gordy Glasgow? You'll have to correct me on the pronunciation. I hate murdering people's names. It says the Rush connection is why Paul is Leto's life son. Oh.
I'm glad H got that because you've lost me.
Oh, it's because the Rush's guitarist is Alex Lifeson.
Okay,
it's one of my favourite guitarists. Yeah. Seriously, if anyone wants to hear something really awesome, and you're not aware of it, go and check out Rush's song "Free Will." It has my favourite guitar solo of all time on it. It's beautiful.
Meanwhile, Alessandra has posted the best defense of our reviewer thus far. To be fair, sandworms made the sand move, so that part of the review is true.
And yes. I must admit, when I watched this film, the sand moved for me too.
I say.
Profo says, some say Frank Herbert had too much plot.
Well, I can tell you one person who says Frank Herbert definitely did not have too much plot.
You ever heard of the dinosaur technique in creating art?
No, and I don't have anything funny.
All right, it's like I'll tell you
or anything.
I've heard of this a few times, but probably the
dwarf getting got again.
11 messages deleted by moderator. That sounds like spam bots. Oh no, Dorfried has been timed out. Something clearly is up with Autobot.
Doesn't like him, does it?
We're so sorry, Dorfried.
And him with his Amazon Prime subscription and all.
I know. It's bad. You think Amazon would or Amazon? You think Twitch would be on this, wouldn't you?
I reckon Amazon should allow you like 3 extra swears a month if you're a Prime subscriber.
I know. It's crazy. I mean, we effing blind like you wouldn't believe on Doom Colonist streams. It never does anything to us.
Sometimes even on the bits that make the edit. Sometimes even when Flo isn't there.
Dorfried, you've posted that emoji. I can almost picture you making that face. As I was saying before, we were rudely interrupted by Automod shenanigans. The dinosaur method in creating art is like a good explanation of it. I've heard. Actually came from the band Marillion, which Dudley and I are both fans of. And one of their techniques for composing music, and again, Marillion, in the media, they're a bit of a laughing stock, which is stupid because they're an incredible band.
We've only got a couple of hours. Let's not go into a Marillion rant.
No, that's what the Bianpod podcast is for.
This is true.
One of their songwriting techniques is to use the dinosaur method, which is where you start small, like the tail of a dinosaur, right, and then you go really big towards the middle of the song,
the big bit of the dinosaur,
and then you tail off towards the head end of the dinosaur. And this is the thing, as that as that pertains to Dune, I think it's like Frank Herbert was just like, yeah, we'll just start off, and then by like the middle of the book, he's just force feeding that dinosaur with a plunger, and just will not stop.
Interesting though, because it's like that's the exact opposite of how you should construct a stand-up comedy set, which is always start with your best joke, end with your second best. Which is literally the opposite way around.
It's now in chat says he's seen Marillion live twice that he remembers.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Profo's already my favourite because of what they said about the Master System. So only a second place available, I'm afraid, for now.
That's on brand Profo. Profo's a sound dude. That has almost completely derailed me.
Shall I continue with the second half of the force feeding of the dinosaur?
Please do. Please do.
UA betrays the Atreides and disables Arakine's shields in an act some are calling plot, allowing the Harkonnens and Sardaukar. He incapacitates Leto, planning to exchange him for his wife, the Baron's prisoner.
Wait a second. It sounds to me like something just happened there.
Nah, must have been mistaken.
Yeah. Please, do go on.
UA replaces one of Leto's teeth with a poison gas capsule with which the Duke can assassinate the Baron.
Nah, I didn't have...
I'm not sure of the mechanics of this, but move on. After the Baron double-crosses and murders UA, Leto releases the gas, killing himself and the Baron's mentat, Peter de Vries.
Peter de Vries. Very good first attempt.
You see, I actually know a de Vries, so I'm safe on that one.
You're doing well.
But the Baron survives. Well, he's not doing well. Though the Baron has arranged to have Paul and Jessica dropped deep in the desert to die. See, side note, why does the evil guy always do this? Just kill them.
Just kill them, yeah.
Just in the heart. Sharp thing. Pokey. A compassionate UA has left them with a Frem kit with survival supplies. Jessica uses a Bene Gesserit technique called The Voice to overpower and kill their captures. Crivens, who could have seen that coming?
I know.
Overnighting in the desert, Paul, surrounded by spice, it's all got a bit train spotting, has visions of a bloody holy war fought across the universe in his name.
Okay.
I can't believe that. Can you imagine the Paul War? It just doesn't scan.
I see. By that point, he's Muad'Dib, but that's going so deep into the weeds.
Right.
You know?
Okay. Right.
I think we've already soundly debunked.
I think we have, and we've only got 2 paragraphs left, so that's good.
This foolish claim that nothing happens,
left.
that literally nothing happens, according to this Amazon reviewer. I think we've quite soundly debunked that by now.
Which means I can take a side note to talk about Marillion episode titles.
You could, yeah.
Because Gordy Glasgow's right. Anorachophobia is a classic.
I love that album.
I'm quite fond of the one that the radio stations call Fear. Because, Mr. H, what does that stand for?
Everyone and run.
Yeah. But yeah. Quality album titles. They also released an album called Marillion.com before half the universe knew what the internet was.
I know, and they wondered why that one bombed. But yeah, Anorachophobia, brilliant album. I love This Is the 21st Century.
Yes.
We're
doing it again. Look, one of these weeks we'll do a Marillion stream. But
yeah, we should.
That is a quality song.
We should get together and just do a 2-man like Marillion one-off episode. So maybe Paul Rose will notice us. But if we get back to the topic at hand, okay, right.
With just the 1 paragraph of plots left in this plotless movie,
we've already pretty much debunked this claim that apparently literally nothing happens in this movie. In a movie that the guy complains about being almost 3 hours long. Yes.
It's 155 minutes. I saw at the top of the Wikipedia page.
This movie is like, there's no top or tail to it. It is all middle of the dinosaur.
This is the dinosaur that ate the other dinosaurs.
Yeah, this paragraph you've just read. Okay, right? We've got an invasion of a city, right? Which has been previously protected by vast shields, which have been switched off. So sabotage, like statewide sabotage, the invasion of a city, right? We've got the violent deposition of the current thief holder.
Mm-hmm. There's half a season of Game of Thrones in that paragraph.
Yeah. I mean, the comparison is totally warranted. Right? We've got like the old guy who was in the job, like violently usurps the guy who's in the job. Right? Kidnaps his significant others, dumps them in the desert, which
but that doesn't kill them, you know.
Yeah,
that would be sensible.
Dumps them in the desert. Where, like, the thing to keep in mind about Dune is that the spice is in the sand. Mm-hmm. So dumping someone in the desert is it's like dumping them in a vat of drugs, which cause, like, seriously. There's a scene in Dune 2021 which recreates all of this, and you know, Paul Atreides is tripping balls, and acted really badly in that scene as well, by the way.
Well, I mean, it's very difficult to act when you're on all the drugs.
I don't think Timothée Chalamet is actually like that much of a method actor. I don't think he was actually high as balls.
I don't think we can rule it out.
Let's just check out.
Hello, Timothée Chalamet's lawyers, if you are watching.
Auto mod is hitting its Snout as well. Good grief.
Yeah, it's got something against Snout.
Sometimes it just seems to act up at certain times. Like, I've not changed the settings since I fiddled with them last time, so...
Well, by definition.
Sorry, guys. Really sorry.
I mean, it's now is from Scunthorpe. I have no idea if that's true.
It could have something to do with it. Let's just quickly catch up on chat. Ouroboros, the plot keeps going. Yeah. 2.5 hours, that's nothing. I've just recently finished up a 6-part commentary chat over the Lord of the Rings Extended Edition. Dorfid, you masochist!
I think those 3 films together are 11 hours 50.
Yeah, we have to do another take. More spice for the actors, please. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm guessing now that Dave saw our chat in the Discord and is now on a revenge kick.
Films these days have a lot of mumbling, so Snork he's right. He's absolutely right. But yeah, I mean, there was rather a significant dollop of stuff happening there. Finish us off, please, Dudley,
for the
if you would.
Completeness, shall I just read the dinosaur head?
Yeah, there's one paragraph to go. So
quite a big one.
By the way, now that we've got this far, just to advise people, there will be spoilers for Dune in the chat.
I mean, I think if you hadn't realised there might be spoilers for Dune, at the part someone used the phrase, Dudley, can you read out the entire plot of Dune? It might be on them by that
The book is decades old. If people are so uncultured that they're only just discovering it now because someone made a movie out of it, I really don't care.
Someone made a second movie out of it. You shall all have played Dune 2 by Westwood Studios anyway.
Please do wrap this up for us.
After conquering Arrakis, Baron Harkonnen appoints his nephew Raban to oversee the planet and orders him to restart spice production to recoup the invasion's cost. Meanwhile, Duncan and Kynes find Jessica and Paul, who discloses his plan to marry one of Emperor Noughts and Crosses' daughters to avert a potential civil war arising from the Emperor's betrayal. They are discovered by... I don't know, Monopoly soldiers.
Sudoku.
I'm just going to start naming games
Sudoku
now for that
soldiers,
one.
Yeah. Fine.
Yeah. Armed with a lasgun. Lasgun?
Yeah. Bit of a weird sentence, that. It says, they are discovered by Sardaukar soldiers armed with a lasgun. Just one among all of them?
they pass it around.
I don't know.
Budget cuts, you know. He needs to mine. That's why he needs to mine the spice. He's run out of guns. Yeah. And Duncan sacrifices himself, enabling Paul and Jessica's escape. Kynes also tries to escape, but is caught and mortally wounded, and lures a sandworm to her location to devour herself and Mousetrap.
Fine.
It's okay, he's dead now, so I won't have to say the name again. Yeah. Deep in the desert, Paul and Jessica encounter Stilgar's Fremen tribe, including Chani, the young woman from Paul's visions. Despite Stilgar's lenience towards them, Fremen warrior, I'm going to go with
Jamis.
Damn it! Challenges Paul to a ritual duel to the death, which Paul wins, so I don't have to mention Jamis again. Contrary to Jessica's wishes, Paul joins the Fremen, determined to fulfill his father's goal of bringing priests to Arrakis.
But none of that happened, did it?
No, but none of that.
None of that happened.
That's a film worth a plot in a paragraph. Is that last one? Bloody hell!
Wow, Automod is going crazy. Guys, a quick tip.
It's only after the 2 people, though.
A quick tip for anyone who's having difficulties with Automod. You're right, it's now. Automod is very smell, is bad smell. Just give it 5 minutes before posting anything and just see what happens, because I have a suspicion that Automod sort of tags things and then sort of sits on them.
And it's watching you.
So yeah. What host Snooker says, this is why the Butlerian Jihad was a thing. That's a thing in Dune, which is a war on machines and artificial intelligence. So I think, yeah, you're onto something there, Snookers.
Because the nice thing is, the Automod doesn't affect those of us who are speaking audibly. So I could say, I don't know, shiting fuck buckets, and I'd get away with it.
You could. I mean,
I won't, because that would be crass. But...
It was a mistake doing this one live, wasn't it, guys? But yeah, that's Dune. That's Dune. The
film with a plot. The
decently above average film from 2021 by Denis Villeneuve. Yeah, I think personally, I don't know about you, Dudley, but I'm kind of the opinion that some things might have happened in that film.
I would describe that as at least my RDA of plot.
Yeah. Shall we look at something else?
Please tell me you haven't just gone through this one guy's reviews and now we're going to talk about how the Lord of the Rings Extended Edition doesn't have a plot.
Lord of the Rings is not
reading
on
out that one.
Not on the menu for tonight. You'll be pleased to know. But
good. Okay.
But we're going to go to another end of the Amazon review.
There's vodka in this, you know.
I'll pass it along. Believe it or not, I actually had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 other items queued up to discuss, but we've gone through 3/4 of an hour on that one review alone.
The ostensible second half of this stream.
We might be going long, guys. We're going to go to the other end of the Amazon review experience.
Okay.
Right, I still speak to people regularly who are ignorant of the fact that you can actually buy foodstuffs on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Dolphin says, missed opportunity there for the comedy of having the same cup on hand for both of you. Don't give us ideas, man.
That would imply that I think of anything in advance. So yeah,
don't say that, Dudley. You'll spoil the illusion.
Just off camera is an Amazon parcel in that direction, which happens to contain a foodstuff that arrived today from Amazon. So
there we go.
I'm with you.
So I've personally used Amazon before to indulge in my one great love, which is noodles.
Okay.
That other one you were thinking of comes from a specialist website. We won't. But yeah, you can buy foodstuffs on Amazon in abundance, and sometimes it's worth doing.
And in a cardboard box.
Yeah, Lucky Boat Noodle is the one to get on, right? But also mint, lime, and cordial. Says Dolphy, delicious with Coca-Cola. What Snorker says, I thought you were about to reveal that you can buy foodstuffs on Arrakis.
Well, presumably you can. There's got to be a branch of something somewhere there.
Dolphin says he's bought Coke and Calorie Mate off Amazon. Well, here's the thing. You can also buy sweets.
Yep.
In huge quantities. Now, what we're looking at here...
I've just worked out what we're looking at here. Would this be the good bits of a bag of Lucky Charms on their own?
A cynical person might describe them that way, Dudley, yes.
Okay.
This is indeed a £1 sealed and resealable bag of crunchy marshmallow.
It doesn't need to be resealable.
No, it doesn't need... as you can see, they are popular because they're currently unavailable.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon don't know when or if this item will be back in stock. Dolphin says that right there is diabetes on demand. I'm laughing at that. I shouldn't. Diabetes is horrible. All right, there's some details in the listing. It says refrigerate after opening if you prefer a crunchy marshmallow.
Then it wouldn't be a marshmallow.
Yeah. Their bright colours and small size make it fun to add to any special baked treat, whether mixed or added as a topping. These colourful dehydrated marshmallows make a great addition to any variety of products. They can easily be added to a bowl of cereal or a steaming mug of hot chocolate.
But nothing else.
But do they have a plot, says Alessandro. Nah, I ate a bag of these marshmallows once and nothing happened. Literally nothing happened.
Were they crunchy?
Mm.
I can't get over that, and neither can Dorfith, but...
Who likes a crunchy marshmallow? What sort of monster do you have to be? I know!
I know I'm getting stuck on the bit you probably don't want me to get stuck on, but I'm getting stuck on that bit.
No, I don't mind getting stuck on things, Dudley. It's fine. It's fine. And there's something for people to clip out of context. I tell you who does like crunchy marshmallows, Dorfid, is dentists. Dentists bloody love crunchy marshmallows, because imagine the numbers of broken teeth that must come through their hands. They're like, yeah, Mr. Jones, yeah. Been on the old crunchy marshmallows again. I can tell you, that's a crown. That's good. Yeah, it's...
And that's why 4 out of 5 dentists think the 5th dentist is an idiot.
Welcome to Hell 5 says, I ate a bag of stale marshmallows. Oh. Let's see what people are saying about these Medley Hills marshmallows. Sheer 241. Bit of mixed messaging in the review there. 4-star review with the headline, buy these, no, don't, or do. And then continues with this mixed messaging by saying, delicious. Worst thing I've ever ordered. Lost about 2 years of lifespan. I love them.
That scans.
What's going on there?
I mean, probably the diabetes.
Definitely, I would say. I don't know about you, but I'm not one of these people who can have like a bag of snacks. Because I tend to I'm useless of an evening off, of like a rare evening to myself, where I can sort of like sit down and watch a movie or listen to music or something. I can't do that without snacks. I feel like my belly hates me for it, but it's necessary. It's legal. It's the law. It's required by law. So what I tend to do is I tend to like find the snacks that I like and buy the same ones. It's not very often that I will buy a new thing that I've not had before, because I can't stand that thing over a big bag of snacks and you open it and you're like, and then you open it and then like the aroma comes out and you're like, and then like you start eating it and like after a couple of mouthfuls you're like, no, I'm not sure I like it. Because like at that point, most sane people, they will stop. They'll just stop eating.
Yes.
This Shea 241 individual is obviously one of these types who's like, oh, it's gross. Oh, it's disgusting. I must finish the whole bag. Oh. What's that about?
4 stars is apparently what it's about.
Cannot fathom it. Cannot fathom it. Let's take a look at the next review in this queue. If I can just get the graphics to work. There we go. Stacey S. I wonder if that's Stacey Solomon from the telly box. 5-star review. Says, this is exactly what you think it is. And yes, it is glorious. But, Dudley, are you seeing what I'm seeing in that header?
I mean, I see a cat. But that's probably not...
Not the icon, the header text. There's an ellipsis.
Ah.
And when you see an ellipsis at the end of a statement as emphatic as that, you know something ain't quite right. There's like... Dolphin says he's seeing a trend with these reviews. Gee, really, you think? Stacey S., who may be Stacey Solomon from the TV or may not, I have no idea. Seems like a nice girl. Bit dim, but very nice girl. I have no idea why these diabetes-inducing treats exist, but it does, and it's amazing. When I was a kid, I would painstakingly go through my sugar-laden marshmallow cereals and pull out all the delicious rainbow goodies, but that took time and effort. As an adult, I've grown wiser. This takes 0 effort. It even comes...
her workflow, I like it.
I'm reading this. This is sounding like something that Stacey Solomon would say. Even comes in a resealable bag to maintain the freshness if you're one of those people who believe in rational portion sizes. Those idiots. And saving the rest for another time. Definitely a good buy.
I mean, in sufficient quantity, Alessandro, I suspect they do indeed give you diabetes.
I would imagine, yeah, certainly. I think the operative words here are please enjoy as part of a responsibly balanced diet.
Which means leaving them in the cereal.
Alessandro says, I do not remember them being amazing. Right. Now that is the kicker. That is the kicker. That's the thing. That's one of the points that I try to drive home with these Amazon product reviews. Do you notice how, like, even though these are supposedly independently written reviews, there's still this kind of leaning towards sensationalism.
Are you suggesting that Stacey might have been hunting for work since she left Legally Blonde?
I mean, I don't really want to make those kind of assumptions. I kind of feel bad for what I said about Stacey Solomon being nice but dim. But I mean, I just...
If Stacey Solomon's lawyers are watching, hello.
Hi. Yeah. How are you doing? How's the family? Please don't sue us. We haven't got any money. Alessandro says, I can't imagine diabetes being 5 stars amazing.
Are you actually reviewing diabetes there, Alessandro?
Sir, I missed a comment there from Welcome to Hell. This is the most American thing I've ever seen.
To be fair, it did say they were in the United States. That was
marshmallows! Fuck yeah!
I believe they call them freedom cubes over there.
Oh dear. Moving swiftly on. This thing that I mentioned about the sort of the sensationalism and the hyperbole in the reviews, I'm not sure if this is like mine's the same seam of that stuff or whether it's entirely serious. But this, good God, KTF, 5 stars, cheaper than divorce. This saved our marriage.
I don't wish to speculate how. Because there are several answers and I don't like any of them.
Yeah, but she must be onto something because 1,567 people found this helpful.
Katie, you've saved a lot of marriages today.
One of these days, I'm going to do one of these streams. Like the next time I start thinking, oh, we haven't streamed in ages, we should really do something we should really give something back to the people. We better do another one of these stupid Amazon review streams.
That's what we're doing. Next
time that happens, I'm going to go onto Amazon. I'm going to find a review of KTF's book, and it'll be like some self-help classic, like how dehydrated marshmallows saved my marriage.
Unless, of course, you find a review from 2 years later that says this ended my marriage,
and it'll have a little sticker on it saying as endorsed by over 1,500 people. Profo says marshmallow marinade. That's a new one.
This is the worry I had. It doesn't say what she's doing with the marshmallows, and I do not need pictures.
But marshmallows, when they get... No, I'm not even going there. No. Welcome to Hellfire says, needs more maple syrup. Canadians. And you're from Canada, so you can make those jokes.
I have some actual Canada-sourced maple syrup in my cupboard right now, so I think that means I can make those jokes.
I do like it when people in chat give us their own disclaimers.
And to prove the point, I bought it from a market in Kitchener. It's not that I've had it imported.
Profo's making comments about OnlyFans. Let's move on.
Maybe that's her username on OnlyFans.
We've got we've got a load of stuff queued up here that we're just not going to get to. I'm going to do one more before we go onto your piece, Dudley.
No,
but
fine.
This is a good one. This is a good one, right? Thing about Amazon, any online shopping site, is that if you look hard enough, you'll be able to buy almost anything. And there is a whole kind of sub-market, if you will, on Amazon for items like this.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now, like I say, there's a lot of stuff like this. Right? This is a bit of a peculiar listing. Right? What we're looking at here is a life-size cardboard standee, and you can buy these. You can buy a lot of these featuring the celebrity of your choice. Oh God, says this is Duffy. He says, I'm scared already for the reviews. Okay, we've got one. We've got one review. But
I didn't know that was her middle name.
Yeah,
according to this, she's Taylor celebrity statue, life-size cardboard cutout, perfect for fans, friends, family, and events. Height 180 centimeters, width 54 centimeters. Swift.
Hey, that's a shitload to get through during a christening, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, right.
It's nuts. So she's taller than me. I can't have that. Yeah,
I like, as Alessandro points out, they've graphed her. This is the Taylor Swift math function. That was going to be my second question, Profo, but I'm not going to look it up. How tall actually is Taylor Swift H?
I don't know.
Is she 5'11"?
Why would you think I would know how tall Taylor Swift is, Dudley?
To be fair, this is her in heels.
Do I strike you as a Taylor Swift fan?
I mean, you strike me as someone who'll have done his research.
Well, in that case, I'll give myself a pat on the back for having you so comprehensively fooled. I will say Taylor Swift seems like an absolutely lovely human being. She does seem like a really nice lady. But
that's a smashing blouse she has on.
But this kind of product, I cannot get down with it. I just cannot get down with it because I look at it and I think, who is it for?
What worries me, H, is it's for people who want to get down with it.
Well, I think that's making an assumption, but like, it's £40.99. £40.99 for a large piece of printed cardboard.
It's reviewed very well as well.
And it's like,
on average,
4.5 stars. I mean, like, there is a review. I mean, like, this kind of gives us an insight into who's buying this kind of thing.
I fear it does.
Let me just. Treacle truffle, first time chatter asks, is it laminated? I'm not even dignifying that with a response.
Oh dear.
Right.
Yeah.
You know that you're on dodgy ground here because this one's written by Amazon customer. So didn't even want to put my name to this, right? And not only that, but it's like, oh yeah, reviewing it for a friend. Giving it a 5-star review for a friend. Yeah, I don't buy it for me. Says, bought this for my friend, thinks it's the real thing. He treats it like it's his real girlfriend. Quite worrying for his mother. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Thomas, perhaps you'd like to come over for dinner and bring your lovely new girlfriend with you. And then, like that weekend, they're all sat around for Sunday roast. It's just there's Thomas and there's cardboard Taylor Swift,
who hasn't finished her roasts.
Are you okay, dear? You look awful thin. You haven't even touched your peas. Right. He even took it.
But 5'11".
The review says this person's friend, in air quotes, he even took it to a party before lockdown as his date. Everyone loved it. That's in all caps.
Yeah. That's
in all caps for emphasis. Right? Everyone loved it. Right? That makes it okay. That makes it not weird at all. Then says, well, I think they loved it as they wouldn't stop laughing. LOL. Would recommend to any single bachelor out there looking to impress. I just cannot get on with this.
I know this isn't the point, but how many bachelors out there are not single?
Seriously, Dudley, what kind of needy kind of personality, what kind of person who is desperate for female company goes out and buys a cardboard Taylor Swift standee, like to fill their own sorry need for validation? What kind of loser would do a thing like that, Dudley? I mean,
there you go. I think everyone was expecting that joke, and I congratulate you on not disappointing us.
It's now says I've had less corporeal girlfriends. Alessandro says he googled something about Taylor Swift's height, and for some reason it's a very discussed topic. For real.
Well, of course it is. People obsess over any remotely famous woman. We need to know, Alessandro, though. How tall is she? Give us an answer. Lie if you have to. And put it in metric if you like, because I know you come from a country that has outlawed feet.
Yeah. Oh, good grief.
I mean, I'm assuming one person knows.
I just... Profo says 5'10" allegedly. So
yeah. heels in the standee, fine, whatever. We'll take it.
I'm 5'10".
Go stand over there next to Taylor and see if you're the same height.
I would, but I just haven't got the special effects know-how. You would be surprised how long it took me to work out how I was going to do that.
I was wondering if that bluff was worth calling, and it was.
Ah, dear.
Welcome to hell. This gigantic Taylor Swift will kill us all.
Welcome to hell. It says 8 meters. Attack of the 8-meter tall Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift versus Godzilla coming to a cinema near you soon.
I'm sure Godzilla would just shake it off.
Oh. I want to say something that would have the auto mod ban me.
Yeah. Auto mod can't ban us because we're streaming.
Oh, it'll find a way.
Oh dear, oh dear. Oh man. Yeah, one thing I will just say about this whole thing of the Alessandra says, my God, there are at least 5 subreddits talking about this. Right? Do you see, guys? Do you see why we're doing this? Right? We're shining a light on this entire subculture of humanity. It's like, you look at the news, the world is on fire. If we would just concentrate on these things, it brings us together.
How tall is Taylor Swift? Do your own research,
we all want to
people.
Know. That'll be next week's headline. Taylor Swift's height confirmed for online community. Worldwide peace achieved.
Oh, for the love of...
The thing about this whole thing online of like cardboard cutouts is that you'll find cardboard cutouts for a surprisingly broad range of celebrities, and some of them, the product listings are unhinged. Like, I found one, and I've not featured this on stream before. This is just there are several cardboard cutouts available actually of Danny DeVito.
Okay.
And
presumably slightly cheaper because...
Yeah, because he's only a little guy. I have seen reviews before where people have been dissatisfied because they think they're being ripped off. Because they're like, I thought this was life size, but when it arrives, it's only the size of a little guy like about the same height as Danny DeVito. Oh.
Yeah.
Brufo says his fiance has one.
What,
do you mean a cardboard cutout, or is there something else? Brufo says he's going to get my God, we've opened a real can of worms there. Okay. One of the Danny DeVito cutouts on Amazon has got one of the greatest images I've ever seen anywhere on the internet in the promotional sidebar to demonstrate how good this thing is and why you need a cardboard cutout Danny DeVito in your life. And it's this.
Notice that she's having to lean down to be the right
I know, it's literally the first thing your eye goes to, but it's one of those...
Entertain immediately.
Yeah, amazing quality. Love instantly.
What I like is that picture is conclusive proof that Danny DeVito is in fact taller than Danny DeVito.
I know. I don't know what is going on with the fact that there are two
Tiny
images.
Danny DeVito's barely as tall as the cat.
I don't. Is that? Do you get two? Do you get like one for the house and one for the desk?
You get like a physical thumbnail.
Dolphin says, didn't DeVito in turn make a standee of a woman who was taking photos with his standee?
I mean, if anyone was going to do it...
Standeeception, yeah. What sells this for me is just like, it's the composition of the image.
Yeah.
Where, like, obviously, Danny DeVito, the main man, is front and centre. You've got the woman to the side, like, pointing with two hands.
Yeah.
Right? Just look at the expression on her face. She's having the time of her life. She is being immediately entertained. She's obviously taken with the amazing quality. But what sells it for me is the placement of the caption, "Love instantly," over the cat and the dog.
Which is true of dogs, but cats you have to work on.
I know, but that cat is right there, right alongside his canine brother. That's like, dude, Cardboard Danny DeVito. It don't get much better than this.
Well, the cats and the dog are doing a remake of Twins.
Oh man. Oh man.
Your disappointment feeds me.
This is genuine entertainment, Dudley. This is the happiest I've been all year.
Then let me ruin it, because Dorfith says, I was shocked when I went to a WWE show and I was only slightly shorter than The Undertaker. Well, of course.
Wow.
Because if he was tall, he'd be called The Overtaker.
Okay, all right. I've got one more Amazon classic review. But what I'm going to do...
Moving swiftly on.
We've made this one for all we're going to get out of it. I've got one more Stone Cold classic review, which I want to go through later, which is one that I've never featured on stream before. Knowing the way my brain ties itself in knots, you might have to remind me, Dudley, but we'll do that at the end of the stream.
Okay.
And we'll move on.
Stick around
to
folks.
your thing.
It ain't going to get better.
Which I believe requires some explanation. So please, Dudley, take it away.
For those that aren't aware of UK games magazines, one of the famous 3 Amiga magazines was the One for Amiga Games, which ran for a long time, published by EMAP. Originally covered Amiga STPC, then Amiga. It was not quite Amiga Power, but it was a decent magazine, even up to the end. And then as the Amiga magazine market and the Amiga market went how it did in 1995, EMAP got to a point where, as a big publisher, they couldn't support it, so they decided to close it. And they announced its closure in the magazine. Did a full farewell issue as well. It was actually quite nice. Then, a month later, a company called Maverick Magazines bought the rights to the format and relaunched it. Now, Maverick are now famous. I once referred to them as the vampire publisher for buying magazines and basically sucking the life out of them. And I have sent H an issue of this. In fact, the second of somehow 14 issues Maverick did of the One Amiga after EMAP considered it not commercially viable. And to say they half-arsed it would be giving them at least 0.49 arse too much credit.
I cast my eyes over this very, very briefly.
You probably spotted a couple of things.
Before the stream. Just for the benefit of anyone who doesn't know in chat, I actually work in comics.
We have forgotten that. Oh, God, you're going to have some layout.
Oh, yeah.
I might have caused you physical pain here. Sorry.
Yep. I work... My main line of work in comics is I'm a lettering artist. So I'm the guy that does all the speech balloons and text arrangement. And you do end up fixing an awful lot of pre-press stuff. And my God, some of the shonky design I've seen in my 15 years in the business. Oh, yes. And this is bad.
One day I'll send you their last issue.
I've got this queued up as a...
Yeah, show us the cover of this.
All right.
Here we go. Start off. Awesome. So, Maverick Edition is the giveaway here. The rest of this is broadly as EMAP did. But if you scroll to, say, the bottom half of this, it promises a fab, fun, free game on the discs.
And it's the entire game.
It is. Now, if you scroll up to the 3 screenshots, can you tell me what the free game is?
Right. Now, at a glance, my initial thought was, is that Shufflepuck Cafe? But then I looked hard and I was like, no, they're not aliens. They're just really badly rendered.
Yeah. You are going to come to know the game in the top 2 screenshots. It's called Hollywood Hustler. It's a late-era Amiga poker game.
Ooh.
The 3rd screenshot is actually of a game called Obsession Pinball.
I was going to say, I think I can see like pinball stuff there.
One thing I need to let you know now, neither of those games are the free game.
Oh my goodness. I'm loving the luxurious level of detail in the backdrop.
Yeah, because as you might guess, the One Amiga logo, the 3 machines on the side, all the basic design at the top here, that all comes from the EMAP thing. They got that for free.
Right.
So on this cover, they have literally slapped on 3 screenshots for the wrong games and called it a day.
Oh, do I need to zoom this out slightly just for...
Yeah, give us the whole page for now.
Yeah,
we'll zoom in if we need.
I'm having to do this outside of OBS, so you'll have to...
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
So, yeah, They've done literally nothing to this cover. None of this is their work apart from the 3 screenshots for the wrong game and writing some words that don't relate to any of the screenshots.
That's bad.
That's where we're going to start.
You know, I would say that the tape on the cover was a creative feature, but then I realised, that's probably just been scanned that way.
No, I think that's just a repaired copy that's been scanned.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly, copies of these Maverick editions are actually quite difficult to come by.
Wow.
The last 3 or 4 of their run, which are a year after this, weren't scanned until maybe a year and a half ago.
My goodness.
But we now have them all, and wish we didn't. The last issue of the one was 92 pages. The first Maverick issue was 84 pages. You will already notice at the top of your screen, this one is 64 pages.
Yeah.
I can tell you by the last issue, it was 16 pages.
What? That's not a magazine, that's a pamphlet.
Yep. It is exactly how one Amiga journalist described it. A pamphlet containing the instructions for the shit-free game on the cover. Which, in the case of their last issue, by the way, was Jet Set Willy 3.
Oh.
Which is actually a PD game that has nothing to do with the rest of the series. But if we go inside the magazine by a page...
Okay, there we go.
It actually almost looks like they're trying at this point. Like, there is some content here. You'll notice Obsession Pinball is reviewed, and Hollywood Hustler has a preview, so at least they're vaguely relevant. Why the pictures of the dinosaurs is a good question. I think they're trying to tie in with Primal Rage. But, yeah.
Not a game I have a great deal of knowledge of, but I mean...
I do, and you're lucky.
They don't look like they belong to it, to my eye.
They don't, really.
Yeah.
We'll get to some screenshots on page 16. But let's reveal what that free game was.
Okay.
Because it's on the next page.
Right.
Actually, after the Special Reserve ad, and I could go on about Special Reserve for longs. Yes, the free game you failed to guess from those screenshots is Trolls by Microvalue and Flair. As you can see from the useful screenshots of Trolls, they provide... Oh, no, that's Hollywood Hustler again, isn't it?
Yeah, right, okay. And
Obsession Pinball again, isn't it?
Yeah, that's... I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this one might have been handled by the pre-press guys on a Friday.
Yeah, this was not... Well, this is the level of effort you see from Maverick magazines in general. This actually gets better. Because they did, in fact, put Trolls on the cover, which is actually quite a nice little platformer. It's, Amiga platformer by Flair, perfectly nice, not earth-shattering, but, a decent freebie for a magazine. If you go to the next page...
Okay.
For me... So what you can't read probably in this resolution is the top, so I'll tell you what it says. In the next few pages, they're going to reprint the manual of the game because the game has manual copy protection, which they did not patch out. The problem is, because of lack of space, they haven't printed the whole manual.
Oh, no.
So you could well boot up this game and get a manual copy protection check for a manual page you don't have. And their advice, if that happens, is to reset your Amiga and try again.
Oh, my.
You will note, too, the screenshots for Trolls on this page that are, indeed, Hollywood Hustler again.
The audacity.
Oh, believe me, we have not scratched the surface by page 5. Please move on.
Okay. I'm just going to say, at the moment, we are already close to one of the biggest clusterfucks I've ever managed in comics.
I know. And this is issue 2 of 14 they did. So there's your 8 or so pages of the manual, I think, over the next couple of pages.
Okay, yeah.
But in no way is this all the manual, despite this being the easiest content you will ever have if you are putting together a magazine. They are literally just reprinting. After that, there is a 2-page advert for a Liverpool 95 glory poster. This advert appears in about 15 months of this magazine, because clearly it's by the same publisher, including after the next season has finished, they are still trying to sell a yearbook of 1995.
Oh, man.
Because Shockingly, they apparently didn't get rehired to do the 96 yearbook. Liverpool FC, club of the century, he says, just to anger any football fans in the audience.
That's a gaffe, like on par with like years and years ago, and I mean like we're talking like a couple of decades back. This must be now. I remember being in town with the girl I was going out with at the time, and she says to me, "Oh, can we stop and look at the magazines? I feel like I want to buy a magazine." And
okay,
she was going through like these stupid like lifestyle magazines, and she picked one up and she was all excited, like, "Oh yeah, this looks interesting." And I noticed on the cover it actually had like all the images, all like the cover dressing, and they're all the slogans for all the like sensational features. Like that we're in the magazine itself, you know, all kind of stuff like I thought I was sleepwalking. I woke up in a nightclub, or I was abducted by my father's sister's boyfriend's.
I very much know the kind of thing for reasons I can't say here.
On the cover of this magazine, it had all this stuff, and I was casting my eye over it, going like, "Why on earth does she want to read that?" And then I noticed that, like, just where she was holding it, there was a photograph of some celebrity, and over the top of it, it had "strapline goes here," and I could not believe it. I was like, "How did nobody catch that?"
There is a famous Amiga format where the headline on the disc page says, "Type some shit here." For equal fuck-ups, please stay tuned to this magazine.
Oh, man.
Moving swiftly on. So, this is actually perfectly sensible section. I mean, Commodore back in business, yeah, but that happens every month. And in the alternate months, it's Commodore goes out of business. I believe this might have been when ESCOM attempted to buy them. Actually, nothing of particular interest here. Although, again, all the design here is taken from the EMAP one.
Right.
They've just wanged some text quite badly in the case of that top right story, because it looks like there's a screenshot they're staying out of the way of they forgot to put in.
Yeah.
This is EMAP's design. They have at least avoided any screenshots of Hollywood Hustler.
There is that. I mean, I am noticing that they have at least made some sensible choices. I mean, this is bad design. This is exceptionally lazy design.
Yeah. But it's basically a lazy version of the one they inherited.
They still haven't done what Retro Gamer magazine have done several times, where they've put white text on a yellow background.
Oh god, Amiga Power were notorious for that.
Yeah. If you know, you know. But my opinion of Retro Gamer magazine could not be lower. But please do continue.
Yeah, we can mostly skip the news section. It's a perfectly reasonable approach, and then we get to their preview of Primal Rage, where you can see why they had the dinosaur pictures they did, but they're not from the game.
No,
like they might have been one stolen from the stop motion making of Primal Rage, because it is from that Rise of the Robots era where they did some digitizing and made some sprites.
Yeah.
So it looks bloody awful, in all honesty. It's one of the last games released on the 32X, just to give that machine a kicking.
Yeah, that's where I know it from, actually. Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. It's not dreadful, but it's not good.
No.
It's not a 4-page preview, but of course, by this point in the Amiga's life, you'll take what you can get.
Yeah, I bet they were starving for news.
What will you have? Yeah. So yeah, they go on and on about Primal Rage. Lots of pictures of models and not the game. Lots of pictures of the game that I strongly suspect are not from the Amiga version, but there's no need to try and prove that. I mean, done well, this could be an interesting feature.
That chap in the middle screenshot is looking a little unhealthy.
Well, maybe that's the health bar.
God, that would be awesome.
The good stuff's going to happen when we get to the reviews. But yes, we're still going.
What?
Because this is the actual preview of the game.
how much is there that you can actually say about like this kind of video game? It's like...
And bear in mind, you only have 64 pages total, and we've used, I think, 8 of them on a fighting game you can't play yet.
What's going on here?
But notice the large screenshots. Basically, we've done about 2 pages of writing, and we slapped on as big a screenshot as humanly possible.
Oh my!
One of the big noticeable things is from the EMAP to Maverick, the word count per page craters instantly, as I think is demonstrated by the contents page next.
Oh my!
Yeah. Where we're going to talk about some games. The review guide there is, of course, nicked straight from EMAP. It's inherited. The bit they had to do is done in 50,000 point.
Oh my goodness.
But first an advert for mail order games. And I don't think this has the resolution to zoom in, but let's not, because it'll just depress us.
Those were always disappointing. Did you ever order anything from one of these mail order companies?
Yeah, Special Reserve, the one we saw earlier, I was a member of. They were great. These slightly shonkier ones, no.
Yeah. I remember I had
formatted this advert badly, and it's covering up some of the prices, by the way, at the top there. Or is it just the resolution we've got with the one scan we can get?
I can't actually see it. Well, let's
fair enough.
Zoom in a bit. See.
Sort of.
Yeah.
To me, that looks wonky, but I think it's just the angle the page is at.
Yeah, it's something right there.
Never mind.
I remember I had a friend in secondary school who he had one of these. I think his parents did a thing for him for his birthday or something where they took out one of these deals with one of these mail order companies where every month he would get a full price game, and that was for his. I have a feeling it was for his Atari ST, and I remember that just the fact that he had done that, and that he was getting this constant stream of regular new games. And the fact that he told people about it, that made him one of the most hated kids in our school. And I remember, I cannot for the life of me remember what the name of the company was, but they did a thing eventually where they said, like, we'll let people do this for like 6 months. And or the way we'll do it is it'll be a year-long subscription. You get a new game every 2 months. Mm-hmm. And my parents did that for me. So I was getting new Atari ST games. And the thing was, you'd get a thing and you could pick the game. Okay. And not once did they ever actually send me what I'd asked for.
It's like in the mid-10s when you used to rent from the mail places that rented games. And you had to put like a top 3 choices, and then they sent you FIFA 95 anyway.
Yeah, that sounds about right, yeah.
Now, to be clear, Brutal Paws of Fury is a different game. I know that might be confusing. It looks a lot like Primal Rage shit version, but it's really genuinely a different game.
It does not look like something I would play.
I don't particularly remember it, but I fear that the best part of it might be the, again, gigantic images they're using on that page to avoid writing anything. The whole of page 24 has 0 words on it.
There's no copy there at all.
Not even a caption. And while it gets a nice review, Mark...
You got there before I did?
Yeah. What'll be important later, so we'll use this review, is can you zoom in on the yellow box at the bottom?
Let me just take let me just see what I can do there. You caught me out there because I was faffing about in OBS.
I know, because I'm going to ask you to do the same later. So, the One Amiga had this, and this was in the EMAP version as well. They reviewed the game on one of the formats, in this case the A1200, and then they said how it worked or whether there was a different version for your CD32 or A500s, like class machine.
I can't remember.
Here, perfectly sensibly, there's a Mega CD version, so of course there could be a CD32 version, but there isn't one planned. And actually, there isn't a specific A1200 version, so yeah, runs fine on an A500, not a problem. Great. It's a useful box in most cases.
Right.
Just keep that in mind for some of the later reviews.
I dread to think.
If we scroll down, this is a review of Whiz, which happens to be by Flare, the makers of Trolls, which you'll note they've just given away. Or is it, if you look at the sidebar, a game called Tower of Souls?
That would have happened on my watch.
So yeah, actually this is a pretty good game. I'm not going to allege any dodginess here, other than putting Tower of Souls on the sidebar, But it should be noted, this is by the same people as the free game they've just given away.
It's isometric, so I'm sort of like, I automatically like it. I do likes me some.
It's a decent little game, is Wiz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not one I'm aware of. I'll
Not one that deserves like this many pages, but I wouldn't debate necessarily their 87%.
87%, decent score.
Yeah. And again, they've got a yellow box. Don't need to zoom in on that one.
No.
It just says, CD32 version the same, whatever. Perfectly nice. And then we move on to review of Fears. Or is it, H, Tower of Souls, as the sidebar would have you believe? Wouldn't, as you say, have happened on your watch. I don't know this game. It looks like one of the 18,000 Doom clones there were about this time. Again, I don't believe this deserves a 4-page review, but to be fair, the poor guys are desperate to review Tower of Souls, apparently. At least they're consistent with the mistake. Now, is this the one? If you scroll down just a tiny bit more. Yeah, okay. They've only played the A1200 version. It's fine. They give it the exact same score they gave Wiz. Fine, whatever.
Have they actually given it the same score? Or is
yeah,
that
they both got 87.
Just template text that they've not updated again?
Difficult to know. As far as I remember, the review seemed to just about... I mean, if we zoom in on the verdict a bit, I think... I think they basically said, yeah, the game's pretty good. Lazy reviewing suggests 87 is probably fine. Like, yeah, whatever. I could debate it. It reads a bit more like a 73, as it were, but... So should we move on to a review of Turbo Tracks? Or, if you believe the sidebar, is it Tower of Souls in a strange font?
In a different font.
And that's the bit that gets me. How did they change the font and not notice they've used the same game, which is not covered in this issue? 3 times so far.
I have actually known it to happen when, like, print-ready files have come to me for things. I've actually known of similar things like this to happen. Like, I once worked on a book where, like, the thing is, like, I never work on covers.
Mm-hmm.
I think very, very occasionally a client will say to me, "Oh, we've got a cover, but it's got no cover dressing on it. Can you apply it?"
Okay.
And I've known cases where sometimes it's a dodgy thing that the client is doing, where they're trying to get me to design like a logo for them into the bargain. It's their way of sort of trying to get out of paying me for something like that. Because logos are a shitload of work. They should be.
Yeah.
They should start at $500, and I don't do them because you can never do them right.
No.
But I have known it before to have covers come to me to have things tweaked on them. And there was one where I had issue 3 of a 4-part series. And issue 1 had in bright red text, number 1 in a limited series.
Mm-hmm.
And all the cover dressing was being handled by someone else. And I received the cover for issue 3 to change something on it.
Uh-oh.
And it still had number 1 in a limited series. And I'm like, I was just genuinely like, how did someone miss that?
Hold on to that thought, my friend.
Oh my.
So Turbo Tracks or Tower of Souls. Lovely rendered Ford Escort there. Perfectly nice. I don't remember this being anything other than generic. I keep confusing it with one of Team 17's.
It has that look about it, doesn't it?
Top-down driving game.
Yeah.
Don't have a problem with it. Would rather play Tower of Souls, probably.
That font on the menu screen there, that screams primo Team 17.
Yeah, and I wouldn't surprise me if it just rips them off, because it's very all-terrain racing. Get 79%, probably fair. You'll note, by the way, the publisher, the price, and the developer text on those boxes missing entirely.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, it doesn't have a publisher or a developer, apparently. Now, zoom in on the yellow box and tell us what the A500 version's like.
Well, I can't because...
Oh, that is unfortunate, isn't it?
Oh, damn, that means anyone who was reading this, who was relying on that yellow box to get their information, anyone who was
Haven't CD32 owners suffered enough?
You just know there's people out there who are depending on little yellow boxes like this to sort of make their opinions for them.
Yeah.
And now they've got to go and they've got to read all these words.
Well, even those words wouldn't tell you if there's a CD32 version.
Oh my goodness.
Oh dear. Beautiful work, everyone. So let's go on to an old friend. It's Obsession Pinball. Or is that a screenshot from Hollywood Hustler top right and from... And is that a screenshot from Hollywood Hustler below?
What?
Or H, is it Tower of Souls as the sidebar would have you believe?
What's going on here? What? Oh, just checking in on chat, and Dorothy said he's had to disappear. Sorry if we missed you there, Dorothy, but thanks for stopping by.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
So, Tower of Souls with this Obsession Pinball's text and Hollywood Hustlers screenshots. Brilliant.
And there's still...
Again, obviously it doesn't have a publisher or a developer, and that's a lot of Hollywood Hustler screenshots. And I think that's one from that Dune clone.
What?
I think the bottom screenshot is from that Dune clone whose name I've forgotten.
How?
And
oh my word! I've just seen...
Have you seen something I'm about to direct you at?
I think I have. Oh my goodness.
Would you care to read out the yellow box text for the whole class?
Here is where the text describing possible other versions will appear. If this text is stealing the actual issue on sale, then it's all Rich's fault. That's all I have to say. Oh
Tower
my
of Souls
goodness.
does not deserve such disrespect.
How do we... have we actually seen Tower of Souls yet?
No, I don't think it's in this issue. I assume it was in the first Maverick issue or something. It also gets 72%, officially the most sarcastic mark of all time.
That's the mark in the old games magazines that was shorthand for well, you can buy it if you want,
well,
but you know.
That's 73%. That's why 72% is the sarcastic mark.
Oh,
they
man.
know what they're doing. And it's worth saying we are post Amiga Power blowing that sky high. So anyone giving 72% now knows. Ah, dear.
On a serious point, I dread to think...
yes.
I dread to think the circumstances that this must have been put together under.
Yeah.
I mean, we sit here and it would be very easy for people to sort of take this as us just pointing and laughing at
I am
people.
absolutely certain this was thrown together in maybe a week and a half by one freelancer, yes.
I think it's acceptable to laugh at the end product, but
yeah.
You know, debatable to laugh at the people who've put it together, because this screams to me like this was done on short notice deadline.
Yeah. Absolutely. And there's a Saturn magazine I covered recently where at the point that it turns into this kind of mess, because the same thing happened to it.
Oh no.
The editor credit changes to Dave Lister.
Oh no.
And the deputy editor credit to Arthur Fowler.
Oh no.
And it is obvious that the staff were saying exactly what they thought about what they were being asked to do.
Oh,
and I bet the same's here. Pinball Mania, nothing particularly wrong with this preview. If you don't know Pinball Mania, it's the one 21st century shat out after Pinball Illusions. Unfortunately, it's not by Digital Illusions. Looks worse than any of Digital Illusions pinball games, despite supposedly being the same engine. And yet, requires an A1200 for no reason I can figure out.
Oh.
It's by Spidersoft, and outside of 2 unreleased games on the Master System, weirdly, Spidersoft made a lot of shite. It's them. If you've played a bad conversion of Pinball Fantasies, like the Jaguar one, that's their fault.
It looks bad, just looking at it.
It just, and requires an A1200, when Fantasies did not.
Insane.
Again, it probably does not deserve 4 pages, but at least most of the screenshots are of Pinball Mania. Although, H, look carefully at the screenshots on this page and play a game of Spot the Difference for me.
Is it that the title of the game on the sidebar is the actual title of the game?
It is, but if I number the screenshots, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, what strikes you about screenshots 4, 5, and 7, and screenshots 2, 3, and 5?
Yeah, there's some
There's a small amount of duplication going on.
Yeah,
I would suggest.
Yeah, there is something oddly familiar about some of those images. Yeah,
They've slightly reframed them, but that's one screenshot,
Ah.
maybe two. Yeah,
that's tragic because
we've got 10 minutes before we go to print, isn't it? So now, what I know you've been waiting for.
Oh, are we getting to the good stuff?
Of the game of the year.
Oh, wow.
Hollywood Hustler actually exists.
Who are these people?
I mean, to explain. So this is quite fun. This is a preview of Hollywood Hustler. It's a bang average card game. It's exactly what you think it is from the pictures. It came out 2 months or so after this and got a fairly glowing review from our hosts. Suspicious because it was next to a form to buy the game mail order, the only way you could get the game. Oh, you'll like this more. 2 months after that, they gave it away free on the cover. 4 months from this preview, they were giving it away, having tried to sell it for 25 quid.
So
in the interview,
it was such a good seller. They thought we gotta get in on this.
I think it was always earmarked to be a freebie, and they were just trying to get some free money first. But in terms of treating your audience like dicks, that's got to be up there because you will have signed that deal before you ever featured it in this magazine.
My life.
But at least all the screenshots are of Hollywood Hustler, and the sidebar says Hollywood Hustler.
Okay, that's progress.
Probably not worth 4 pages of preview, though, is it?
I mean, something I'm noticing looking over these images is
not seeing any cards, are you?
I'm not. If I were like one of these unfortunate types who was relying on pictures to give me the information, if words and sentences were incomprehensible to me, I would not know what on earth this game was about. And if I
apart from that one screenshot on that page that tells you exactly what it's about.
I mean, right at the bottom there, you've got like this freakishly large eye staring through a hole, and you got ankles.
They might be tailors.
I couldn't possibly comment.
Yes, you could turn around and check your standee.
Oh yeah, no, I can't see them. I can't see they're hidden. It's
okay.
I can't imagine the disappointment I would feel at buying this and then discovering that it was the game that's shown on this page.
I'm just going to let you look at the screenshots on this page and draw your own conclusions about how many screenshots were actually taken.
I'm guessing they were pushed for time.
And just hammered the screenshot button once every 3 seconds for a minute.
I'm loving this little bit of explanatory text underneath the third screenshot here. Just let me zoom in on this. This is the main game screen, and these unsavory characters are your opponents.
What?
I bet you that's been edited. I bet this page came back with a note from the editor saying that sentence is too short. You need to add a word. And the word that was added was unsavory.
I think it was, yeah. You need to make sure it at least wraps onto 2 lines to make this work.
Yeah.
I won't make you do it, but if you were to go through the rest of the magazine up to this point, most of the Hollywood Hustler screenshots are one of these that's been cropped. Yeah, like the bottom of that screenshot, that scoreboard, appears multiple times up to this point.
I had noticed, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so on to tips, where they do Street Fighter 2, the new challenges.
Oh, these pages were always great.
Yeah, I mean, this is a lot of lazy screenshotting. There isn't much of an actual guide here, because it's all in screenshot captions. But it fills 3 or 4 pages, doesn't it? You know? I don't know how much useful information there is about Super Street Fighter on Amiga, or whoever was stupid enough to buy it, having seen Street Fighter on the Amiga, but...
Yeah.
This is a 6-button arcade game with a 1-button joystick. That's all you need to know. It did not work, bless it. It's better than the ST version that had a frame rate you could count along with.
And some of the special moves, I believe,
run okay.
Yeah, some of the special moves, I believe, had like a massive 2 frames of animation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ST version is tragic.
I have a friend who got hold of the the Sega Mega Drive Mini when it came out.
Yeah.
And got all excited all excited because it had
I know
Street
where
Fighter
this is
on it,
going.
and then played it and complained to me like a few days later saying Street Fighter on the Mega Drive is rubbish. You have to press the start button on the controller to swap between punches and kicks. And I was like, hold my beer.
If you've got a 3-button pad, that is true. And the Mega Drive Mini in the UK came with 3-button pads. I can tell you, if you plug a 6-button pad into it, it works perfectly as it should.
Yep, I have the Mega Drive Mini and a 6-button Saturn-style controller. Works a treat.
But as supplied in the UK, comes with a Retrobit 3-button controller.
Good grief,
Tight bastards.
They really went to town on this guide.
Yeah, although enjoy that screenshot there at the bottom of the previous page. Brilliant. Just top work, chaps. Which just tells me no one had time to typeset and proof this. They wanged it together and hoped for the best. There's no way this had the time that even a normal magazine would have. And that was quite a pressured job.
I have seen stuff like this on comics jobs that I've had before. And this looks like they're either using really simple software or they're using decent software with a really basic grasp of what it can do.
Well, what they're doing is they're using whatever Maverick had in 95, using second-hand layout files from EMAP, who may well have been using something completely different.
I mean, I've seen errors in repackaged comic books before where people have sent me an email and they've gone like, help! How do I fix this? And there's things like, you see this image where you've got the portrait of Zangief, is it? Mm-hmm. And you've got that block of tan-coloured colour.
Yeah, which is bled in from the left.
Right, that's something to do with how images are layered.
Yeah.
And, like, easy thing to fix. But the messes I've seen people get into over it, it's ridiculous.
Otherwise, I mean, most of this just about works. For all I know, they stole it all from EMAP.
My God.
Slightly lazy, but Street Fighter 2 at least probably deserves a guide this big, because they are covering every character.
I was going to say, is this really necessary? But I'm like,
I mean, it's the nearest thing to good content this magazine is going to have, so let's enjoy it.
It is Super Street Fighter 2, so it has got the extra characters in it. So
yeah. I mean, it's an okay job. I wouldn't be surprised if I were to check an issue of CU Amiga that it's stolen from it.
Oh, that's not good. The way that text is arranged over the yellow.
Yeah. And they're using old layout files, I'm sure.
My goodness.
What was the other game previewed? Tipped? Virocop. I don't even know this one. I'm sure it's fine. But I certainly won't tell from this first page because it's the name of the game and some screenshots. I assume this is just supposed to be a map, is what they're saying. Yeah.
With no useful annotations on it.
No useful annotations. But I guess. I don't know the game. Maybe a map is super useful. Could be. But it's a lot of magazine to take.
Very light on information, I'm noticing.
So, I have one more thing to show you in this magazine. So, this is always lazy text, the recommended section, right?
Okay.
Now, let's see if I can get the right one. Can you just check the text for cannon fodder for me?
Cannon fodder. I'll zoom in a little. There we go.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the text you expect. War has never been so much fun. Great. Let's keep scrolling a little. This is always lazy text. And I can tell you, by the way, everything here is taken from EMAP's The One. They wrote none of this. They have literally just ripped off what was a 2-page section and expanded it to 4 pages with the same words and the same games. Now, read this top.
So it's August.
Yeah.
And all thoughts turn to summer holidays. Well, mine certainly do anyway, although I'm sure there are some sad blokes out there that would rather be playing Amiga games. And that's why we're here, of course, to help the sad.
There's a bit on the next page for it, but you'll note, before we go, that A, we're insulting our own readership.
Yep.
But also, this isn't August. This is the September issue. They've reprinted the text from the previous month.
No.
And not noticed. If you were to open October's issue, it says it's October and not August, like it's been for the last 2 months. So they acknowledged the mistake. But that text that appears in October 95's issue that says it's August will stay the same until the magazine closes.
Man.
It goes through until they fall down to 16 pages. They print it every month as being October, right up to about June the next year.
Those kind of blind spots are infuriating.
Oh, if you hate that, then could you please scroll down to the entry for PGA Tour Golf?
PGA Tour Golf.
And would you read out the text for PGA Tour Golf for me?
PGA Tour Golf, a hyper-realistic golfing sim... No, sorry. I had a smudge on my glasses there. It says, war, according to those wacky, sensible boys, has never been so much fun, and we're inclined to agree. It might look like a simple run-around and blast everything affair, but there's a surprising amount of strategy involved in it.
Which is not how I remember golf, and I'm someone who's contended that crazy golf should be renamed golf, and golf should be renamed boring golf.
Now, I've played golf before, believe it or not.
I can believe it.
And I will say, I was sceptical when I started. And after about half an hour, I was like, yeah, I see why people do this. It's like, yeah, I could, if I had infinite time and money, this is a thing I would do.
It's
and even I'm thinking, like, that's over-egging the excitement of it. I'm just looking at...
Profo's old sergeant is someone I need to meet. I think...
I haven't even been paying attention to chat. That's bad.
Alessandro left. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's the only time I think they make the mistake here. And again, that's something they correct next month.
I'm just looking at
it's October.
I'm just looking at the other games and thinking, like...
They're perfectly fine choices. Yeah. And that's because they stole this from the last issue of the EMAT one. They did no work here at all.
Captive 2. Now, that I remember that being... That was one of the games I always wanted but never got to play.
Actually, there is one worth breaking out. Putty Squad there. Issue reviewed August 1994, so a year before this.
Yeah.
Which means the one would know by now, if they cared to know by now, Putty Squad wasn't released on the Amiga until 2014.
Aye.
It was never released in period. So a year after it was reviewed, because it was finished and reviewed, they never released it. They could probably remove it from the games they recommend you to buy. Man. It was actually dug out of the archives when they released the PS4 version of Putty Squad and released for free online. And I highly suggest getting it. It's worth 90%. But it wasn't released until 2014.
I just noticed Rough and Tumble as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that one that one was always amusing. Because I remember thinking just how hilarious it was that you had this game where you had like an obvious child protagonist with a bloody huge firearm. Couldn't do that today.
No. Well, probably could, to be fair, in a video game. I think, yeah.
There's more.
So
there's more.
The second half of the section. And to help you sad gits out there, because, insult your audience.
Double down.
We've pumped up our recommended section to 4 pages with bigger and better screenshots, not text, because we've nicked the text. So you can see more of what you want. The graphics. A little bit of space left to fill. So how about the word... And I can tell you what's happened here, because they've mistypeset it between issues again.
Oh, no.
If you go back one issue, the word is arse. Because the one had a thing where they used to work the word arse into things as a joke, and they were actually quite good at it in the EMAP days. But the Maverick people did not understand how that humour worked at all. And so just put arse in everywhere. It didn't work. That's not how it works. EMAP were quite clever about how they did it, relatively speaking. But yeah, it's fallen off the page here and no one's noticed.
This hurts. This hurts to look at.
I know. I'm going to send you that last issue. You're going to love it. I have so much to tell you.
Hey, UFO!
Yep.
Man.
The Microprose game, known as XCOM in both America and in modern games.
I spent
sequels for XCOM.
So much time on that game. And like I keep saying to myself, I'm going to get it working on a Raspberry Pi because I've got the stuff to do it. And I know it works. And I need to. But I have this thing where I'm scared to do it because if I do, I just know that I'll disappear for months.
They are very difficult. I had the second one, Terror from the Deep, at the time.
Do you know a really funny thing about UFO? And I've told this to a lot of people who've just been like, no, that didn't happen. It totally did.
All right, go on. Try me.
If you've played UFO, you might be aware that it randomly assigns first and last names to your little guys.
Yep.
And like that's the thing. That's one of the things about the game is like I love games where they give you like team members and they give them like just something, even if it's just something like a unique name that just makes them like it makes you connect with them.
Yeah, I mean, in my first game of XCOM, I actually named them after all my colleagues at work, which got really awkward when they started getting interested and then they started dying.
That's kind of like when I used to play Unreal on my PC, and I would play like one player versus bots death matches, and I would load the game with bots, and I would name them after the people that were in the band I was playing in, because it was so cathartic. You know,
that's fair.
When you'd see things like Mark just got jibbed by H's flat cannon, I was like, fuck yeah. But UFO used to do this thing where it would name the little soldier guys, and like as XCOM developed into a franchise, the customization stuff you could do with your squad members, it's crazy off the charts. Like I fucking loved the first XCOM because I actually built 2 squad members. One looked like one of the guys I work for, and it was just fun to have him in my squad. And another one, I spent ages going through all the customization options to turn him into Geddy Lee. And I remember my old man came into the front room.
You brought it round full circle. Well done.
Yep. Geddy Lee, the famous Harkonnen bass player. And I remember my old man coming in to the front room as I was playing this game, and he sees, as I'm kitting out the squad, sees this guy that I've made to look like Geddy Lee, and just burst out laughing. And he just thought, that's so accurate. It's like, I have still got screenshots of it, so one day I will turf them out and I will share them with the world. But the best thing about the original UFO, when I played it on PC, and this was at the peak of my sort of discovering and like getting full into the Alien movies, there wasn't the degree of customization in that game. Like your soldiers, their graphics would change to reflect the armor and equipment that you gave them. At this time, it was sort of cool that if you researched a new gun and equipped your soldiers with it, you would see them carrying that gun in the game. That was like the level of sophistication we were at. But beyond that, it was capable of giving you either male or female squad members, and it would randomly generate a name. And I took on a new trainee squad member, and the game named this squad member, this female squad member, Sigourney Weaver. And that is absolutely true. And I just could not believe it. It made my day.
If it has Sigourney in the first names, and it should. If it has Weaver in the second names, and it should. It's going to happen sometime.
Yeah. And the lengths that I went to make sure Sigourney Weaver survived every mission.
Yeah. You'd be buying whatever the cotton wool upgrade is.
Yeah.
As a side note, as we leave this magazine, Wiz and Liz is bloody good and you should play it.
Yeah, I have it. It is indeed very good.
I have a Mega Drive copy behind me.
Yeah.
And Super Stardust, for those that don't know, is indeed the predecessor of the recent PlayStation Super Stardust. It's the same people. They're now known as Housemarque. They made Returnal. Yeah. Back then, they were Bloodhouse.
Super Stardust was
because they merged with a company called Terramark. Anyway, sorry.
No, I was just saying Super Stardust. It was the bomb. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And so are the PlayStation versions. The PlayStation 4 one you can play in PSVR.
Wow.
It's quite the thing. And yeah, the back page ad is for EMAPS magazine, See You Amiga, which I assume is part of the deal to take over the name, that they had to give away a few ads.
And, my goodness, zip drives.
Yeah.
Zip drives.
And unlike in Future Goes, they're actually advertising a copy of See You Amiga that you can buy. Because it won't surprise you to know in later issues they screwed that one up.
What a novelty. Zip drives. I actually used to have a studio recording, like mini desktop studio thing.
Yeah.
That ran on zip disks. And it was a great little unit. And I remember after about 6 months of solid use, the drive completely died. And
you're fucked then, of course.
Yeah, because like it was one of these things. You have to get in touch with the manufacturer to arrange a replacement, supposedly. And they were saying to me, "Oh yeah, you need to buy our particular type of zip drive to go into it because the circuitry and the connection is different." I was like, "All right, okay." And a mate of mine at the time, he said to me, "Oh, try this one." He handed me a zip drive, which was like an internal zip drive designed to be put into a computer. And he just said, "Just try it, see if it works." And I slotted that thing in there, fixed it a treat. And like, what's going on with this?
I have two observations at this point. Profo wishes to point out he had a zip drive and he misses his internal one, so you probably nicked it to replace yours. But also, do you remember the Jazz drive?
The Jazz drive, I remember the name. I can't say.
It was the 1 gigabyte version of the zip drive, and basically it was everything the zip drive was, except less reliable. And I owned that. There was what we used to call the click of death, which was the sign your Jazz disc was about to cark it.
I'm just going to quickly check over chat and just see what I've been missing. War is golf. Yeah.
Now, Jazz Jackrabbit came a little bit later, and Jazz Jackrabbit is a fine game that everyone should play, and I have physical copies of both of them in this room.
The thing that I couldn't get over about having a Porter Studio with a zip drive in it was just like the technology is just, it's so atrociously ill-suited to that kind of application.
Yeah. Like, they were quite popular, as I understand, in music production as well, for reasons.
They were, but I mean, having been sort of invested in like the music technology scene at that time, because that would have been going on right when I was in the thick of playing music with people and like my first forays into writing music. I remember the two things that people had an eye on were zip drives and mini discs, because the mini disc was seen as being the exciting thing that was going to take over, and I personally think mini disc was a great format.
Yeah, how far did they get with the professionals? I know it never really, at least in the West, broke.
Never took off. Never took off. Okay. I remember there's actually a shop in my town that's only been open for about a year, and they quite often have items of second-hand equipment in, and they do have an old Sony mini disc recorder, like basically a Porter Studio, the same as I used to have with my zip drive in it. And that thing looks like it's beat up to hell and back. And like, they don't want very much for it. I've been tempted to go in and sort of make an offer, because like it's even though it's cheap, it's not worth the money that they're asking for it.
But it'd be kind of nice to have. I mean, that's resulted in a lot of the shit that's behind me, so be careful.
You can still, if you go in the right places, you can still find packs of unused mini discs. Like recordable mini discs, and like I kind of think like if you could get a setup like that working, it would be good. But the things that I know turned people off them were that you couldn't get an awful lot of data onto them.
Yeah.
And as time's gone on, we've kind of learned that they're not the most reliable format, and it's a real shame.
Yeah, but so was the zip discs.
Yeah, I mean, the zip discs. I think the draw with those was that you could get. At the time, it felt like you had a lot of storage on those things. You could crash a lot of demos and ideas down.
They were 100 meg, weren't they? The standard zips.
Yeah. Which of course, like, it's laughable now.
It is, but in a world where your other discs were 1.44 meg, yes, please. And this is why the Jazz drive at 1 gigabyte was great at the time. I had my retro collection on it because my hard drive was not 1 gigabyte at that time.
But I mean, as archival like media, they were great. Zip discs were brilliant. To go into a piece of studio equipment where it's continuously being rewritten to, no, you're just asking for it to die.
I guess that is.
Couldn't do that with a floppy.
That's like the hard use case, isn't it? Anything like that.
You had games on zips, Profo. Wow.
Yeah, I can believe it.
Yeah.
A lot of games at that time would easily have fitted in 100 meg.
Yeah.
Even the early CD ones. Like Rise of the Robots on a CD, it's actually 15 meg. Desert Strike's actually available on CD, it's 1.5 meg.
Crazy how things.
But they did a CD version because everyone wanted a CD version.
Stuff like that always reminds me of like I had a friend years ago. I used to like occasionally we'd get together and we'd geek out over books and things. because we were both like science fiction nerds. And I remember getting a copy of William Gibson's Neuromancer, which is amazing. I mean, I don't get on very well with William Gibson's style of writing, but that book's incredible. And the only thing that dates it is that you've got all this wild cyberpunk technology, and people are talking about holding like megabytes of information, and that dates it. And like, look where we are now.
There's a line in December's Yesterzine where I make fun of something being 84 kilobytes, and I say, kids, yes, kilobytes. I know that's laughable now. Me saying the word kilobytes is more kilobytes than that, but trust me, it was good at the time.
Hey, there's satellites and like deep space probes and whatnot out in space are running on that kind of memory. So like,
yeah. You were going to show me one last Amazon thing.
I was, and we're going to make this the last item because we've already gone about 35 minutes over time.
And these nice people need to get good and drunk before they go to bed.
They do, and this will probably help them on the way.
All right.
Let me... Oh, this is one for the ages. We're going to go back to the weird and wonderful world of Amazon product reviews. Bit of a story to set this one up. What we're going to be looking at is... Let me just find the image. This. The relatively unassuming looking Acme Life executive office chair with PU leather, swivel computer desk chair with flip-up armrest, adjustable height, extra padded, ergonomic, high back, heavy-duty office chair for home, extra wide, black. That listing is a bit of a word salad.
And I am a home extra wide, but I'm not black, but still.
Yep.
Looks like a perfectly nice chair to me.
Now, bit of a story to this one. I was working at home one day, and just abruptly, as I got up out of my seat to go make myself a cup of coffee, the back of the seat fell off.
Yeah, that roughly happened to my arse chair.
Yeah, my 200 quid, says Profo. I could get cheers from the skipper. Profo, if you could you get one for me as well, please? Because this one's already due for replacing. Yeah, so I was like, oh, that's a bit of a bum development. Because I need a chair, really, for work. It's very, very uncomfortable if you sit on a normal chair and try to do what I'm doing all day.
As a fellow work from home, I'm totally with you.
So I found this product review as a result of my genuinely surfing Amazon, looking for something to buy. And
speaking of which, there we go.
I was looking through the reviews, and this is one of the things. Like, although, like we do this stream for laughs and giggles, and I used to stream this kind of stuff.
I thought you were going to go to. There's a serious message for comic relief.
There is a serious message. There is a serious message because, like, one of the reasons why I started doing these streams back in the day, where I was highlighting ridiculous product reviews on Amazon, is that it's funny when you're looking at ridiculous stuff like plastic yodeling pickles and like UFO detectors and tiny tins of uranium, and it's like, which are all things that you can buy on Amazon. But when you start looking at the reviews of something that you actually need to buy, that you actually have serious need of, and you're trying to find anything resembling accurate information, useful information, it is a nightmare because Amazon just doesn't work that way anymore. No. You can look up a certain product and you can read 100 reviews which have all been lumped together by some bizarre site-wide algorithm just because they're reviews of something similar to that product. It's not that actual product. It's a thing like... It's horrendous. Like, I've been doing this recently with guitar effects pedals. Because
and I'm guessing you encountered the same as I did when I bought a printer. I own a printer that's part of a range of like 4 that Epson do. Like broadly the same range, but very different capabilities. They've lumped the reviews of all 4 models in together. Yeah. So the review says, like, it doesn't have a paper tray. Yes, it fucking does, but the base one doesn't.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So I was looking through all these reviews, trying to make sense of what reviews were actually germane, we will say, to the product in question.
Oh, you need to look on Amazon.de.
Eventually, I found this. Okay.
I'm proud of me.
This is a review by Joe Consumer.
I already like this man.
I have a feeling that his real name may not be Consumer.
Oh, right. I thought he's actually called Dave Consumer.
He might be one of these guys where he's got a first name for a last name. His name might be Joe, for all we know.
Okay.
But he gives the chair, gives the Acme Life office chair with leather coverings and all the rest of it, 4 stars. Good review score for an office chair. And I'm liking the directness of the header of his review, where he says, "Let's cut the nonsense. Here's an honest review." Those are the words that you want to see. That's what you want to see. And it was a reasonably current review. It says it was reviewed in the United Kingdom on the 24th of July 2022. And he says, this review goes places. He says, "Buying an office chair is proving to be an absolute nightmare these days. So after buying this product, I figured I'd do my bit and let folks know what they're getting for the money. Admirable aim. For the sake of complete clarity," now this is good. This is great practice. He says, "For the sake of complete clarity, this is a review of the Acme Life Executive Office Chair with flip-up armrests and PU coverings. Pro tip for other reviewers, it's a good idea to specify exactly which product you're reviewing, as Amazon tends to lump reviews for unrelated products into a review stack, as if things weren't difficult enough. The problem with office chairs in the sub £500 range is that, frankly, they're not built to last. That's shocking considering the amount of money people are asked to spend. Seriously, buy smart and push the boat out for the best chair you can afford. Do not buy overpriced gaming/racing chairs, as these are frequently sold on the strength of their appearance and certainly don't boast the greatest longevity. A 2 to 5 year lifespan for a product costing over £150 is shocking, and consumers... I wonder if he means consumers regularly or people in his family. I don't know. Consumers should not accept that. Leave them well alone."
Side note, I'm sat on a 16-year-old IKEA chair, so I'm with him.
IKEA chairs, top quality.
Yeah. Doesn't cost the £100 it cost 16 years ago now, but it's probably still worth it.
Yeah, there is that. Joe Consumer continues. He says, "I needed a new office chair for work as my old one, a £90 chair, bought almost 10 years previously, suddenly fell apart." And I'm like, hey, this is kind of...
This man is me.
This guy is speaking to my experience. He says, "My budget for a replacement wouldn't stretch very far, unfortunately, and this Acme Life chair seemed like the best option from a bad bunch. Excuse me. I was lucky enough to get it on a limited time deal. First impressions so far are very good. The chair was easy enough to put together, with clear instructions in the leaflet for..." I'm laughing because I know where this is going.
I'm laughing because I saw El Profo's comment, but...
Oh, man.
He's you from another timeline. This is like the worst episode of Quantum Leap ever.
He might be my evil twin with a goatee.
Yeah. Hang on.
He says... I wondered how long it would take you to get that. He says, "First impressions so far are very good. The chair was easy enough to put together with clear instructions in the leaflet provided. Make sure you don't make any silly mistakes like attaching the base backwards and you'll be fine. I'd recommend you fit all the screws loosely, just enough to hold the chair together until you put the back on, and then tighten everything up." Right,
Fair
now,
enough.
This review...
Good practice.
You might be thinking, what's this review doing in this string? Because, like, it's actually useful.
There are 2 possibilities. Either this goes places, or that you are, in fact, an employee of Acme.
It goes places, right?
Okay.
Once fully assembled, the chair's actually pretty nice. The seat cushion is very well padded, and the backrest has a decent lumbar support to it. You should be aware that the gas cylinder is slightly longer than most, so if you're under 6 feet tall, you may struggle a bit. Just like in other aspects of life. I mean... A lot of women in the modern dating scene won't even look at you. They won't care how good your heart is or how much love and sensitivity you will show them, or even if you pull in a healthy bank balance. It's just like 5'10", the same height as Taylor Swift. Get out of here. And this seat is only marginally less harsh.
This isn't fighting the accusation that you wrote this, I'm afraid.
Well, you assume I have these terrible experiences with women. I do.
I have known you a while, my friend.
Anyway, the backrest is very straight. There's no giving it in its locked position, so this may not be the chair for you if you want something to lean back into. It's not so bad in its rocker position. Just be aware that if you're a shorter guy, scorned and unloved by the colder women of the world, it may mean your feet get lifted up off the ground.
Well, I'm glad something is sweeping him off his feet.
I know. I mean, like, I'm in two minds about Joe Consumer. I'm sort of thinking, is he a decent guy who's been hurt? Is he an incel piece of shit? What's
Yeah.
Is he just a guy who needed a chair? I don't. We just don't know.
The feel-good movie of summer. He's a guy who needs a chair.
There's a review of this chair that says the coverings are thin. They're not. Okay, that's a point in Joe Consumer's favour. He's there to strike a blow for honesty and decency.
Relevant consumer information.
It's good. We're back to the good stuff. He says, honestly, the PU leather on this seat is as good as the covering on the chair I've replaced it with. Be careful as you open the box it arrives in, as an overtly enthusiastic stab into it with a box cutter or Stanley knife might well slice into the cushioned parts of the chair. Be sensible and you'll be okay.
He buried his ex in the box, didn't he?
Actually, I just remembered.
There's a third page.
Yeah, this goes on. It goes on and on. He says, actually, I just remembered. I went to school with a guy called Stanley Knife. Knife? Nife?
I'm fairly certain he was also generated for me on a copy of UFO. Anyway, continue.
El Profo says, focus on the chair reviews, Joe. Maybe some big stumpy boots. You'll need a pimp cane to keep the ladies up. I know where this is going, Profo. You are not prepared.
Please continue.
He says, yeah, he says, he goes down this sidetrack of saying that he went to school with a guy called Stanley Knife. I wonder how he's doing these days. He was only 4 feet 5 inches tall. I dread to think what his love life's been like. Shame, nice guy. I think I read somewhere that he went into business manufacturing carpet fitting tools. I should look him up. You should too, unless you're a woman who has a height requirement for the guys she dates. Seriously, it's 2022. We should be above that these days.
To be fair, I went to school with quite a lot of people who were 4'5". Specifically, I went to primary school with a lot of people who were 4'5".
Everyone I went to like primary school with was much shorter than that.
Yeah.
Joe continues. He says, Joe's really got off on one now. He says, really, modern women say they want independence and recognition. But as soon as a guy shows interest in them, it's all, well, I don't want you bumming around the house, sitting in your fancy new office chair all day, while I'm out earning the dough. And they say they want a guy who shows his sensitivity and vulnerability in front of them. But if you blow at a movie you're watching together, they're all like, ew, gross. And then you get dumped. Society's...
To be fair, they'd just abandoned Paul and Jessica in the desert. Who wouldn't cry?
I know. That gets me every time. Joe continues, he says, society's ruined, man. So many people say things they don't mean. I mean, the world is falling to pieces around us. Modern values are awful. He's not wrong. I mean, obviously, the guy's got hurt in his life. I mean,
yes. Your friend that wrote this has obviously been hurt in his life.
It wasn't me. And then he finishes the review by saying, so it's a good thing that in a chaotic, unforgiving world, the Acme Life Executive Office chair with flip-up armrests and PU leather coverings is a chair you can trust. I'll update the review in 6 months and then again after 12 months to comment on its longevity.
Did he?
I mean, wow. I said it went places.
I went one place and then it stayed there, much like Joe.
How does a review like that happen?
Well, I mean... I can think of one reason it went that place. Sorry, I've had to look up to see if he's ever updated that review.
I can save you the trouble because he has. All right, I've got the replies. I've got the updates right here.
Oh, all right. Sorry, let me get comfy.
Okay.
Shoot.
Edit after 6 months. Overall, impressions are pretty favourable. I found that the length of the gas cylinder isn't too much of an issue. The chair was pretty creaky though, but a good squirt with some WD-40 fixed that, and it's now whisper quiet.
I should do that here.
Mine needs a little bit of attention that way. One thing to note is that it's probably wise to tighten the bolts that hold the chair together, maybe about once a month, as they do thend. That's how you know it's not me, Dudley, because there's a typo.
Yeah, you'd have fixed that.
Yeah.
Unless you're just trying to put me off the scent.
Yeah, well, you know, I am sneaky. Is that as they do tend to work loose, which is a bit disconcerting. Other than that, all's good in the hood. The seat's holding up, the coverings haven't shown any sign of wearing out, and it's happy days. I'm still too short to get a date, though, apparently.
Oh, God. You'd think that review would have got him a date, but hey.
Well,
I guess you can't message anyone on Amazon, can't you?
Well, just... You used to be able to. You used to see comments.
Yeah, I bet that wasn't abused.
I can tell you now that it was. I remember a friend shared a review of a graphic novel once. It was... I don't know if this will mean anything to you, Dudley, but the graphic novel in question was called Linkal by Jean Giraud. And I forget the writer's name, which is going to drive me mad because he's a well-known guy. But it's a well-known European comics classic, and it's not very good, to be honest. It's like a lot of these things where, like, in my opinion, I've read it. I thought it was quite nice looking, but the story was junk. And one guy had the audacity to say this in the Amazon reviews, and the replies.
Ooh, I think you can reply, but what I think you can't do is say DM the reviewer to profess your lifelong love of the man who is slightly too short for his chair.
I don't think DMs have ever been a
which
thing.
is a shame. That's how Joe is not going to get a date.
Yeah, but we haven't heard the end of Joe Consumer's saga yet, so we need to check out the update that he published after 12 months. And in all seriousness, good on you for doing this, Joe. Because this is the level of information. He has come back and reviewed the chair. He has given us useful information. And let's see, edit after 12 months. This one's a bigger one. Oh my! Donna breezed into my life just about 3 months ago. For a time, we were blissfully happy. She was so very nearly perfect. A good cook, fantastic homemaker, impeccable taste in movies and music. And I was consistently moved and impressed by the depth of compassion she showed to others. It really felt like I'd found my soulmate in her. Until one day she came in from work, hung up her coat, kicked off her heels, and I noticed that she was suddenly 3 inches shorter. The burning spear of betrayal that pierced my heart that day caused me such emotional anguish I don't think I'll ever recover from it. Of course, our love could not survive such a heinous deception. Through a haze of anger and sadness, I packed her bags, called her a taxi. That's a bit mean. Oh no, he called her a taxi and bid her farewell. She protested, she cried, she assailed me with all manner of hysterical promises that she would love and care for me as no other woman could. But how can I take her at her word now? Go, I told her simply. And when she asked where she was supposed to sleep that night, as painful as it was to choke out the words, I told her, I don't know, Donna. Maybe on the bed of lies you built. I haven't seen her since. Still, the chair's holding up.
Months to write this, and it's brilliant.
I just love the way that he says, I haven't seen her since. Still, the chair's holding up. I still have to tighten the bolts every now and then, and there's a small tear in the covering on the back, but that's down to my manhandling of it as I moved it into the front room one day. All in all, pretty good spend.
Bonus?
Did that really happen? Did that really happen, Joe?
I think of course it didn't, but the fact that he has played the long game over 12 months of reviews.
And they are, when you check the review, they are edits after 6 and 12 months. And I'm like, that is dedication to the bit.
I can absolutely respect that.
Joe Consumer, I think you've got some repressed anger issues. I hope that you've got a decent chair now, but I'm going to say, like, overall, I like the cut of your jib. If you'd like to write for the show, please get in touch.
Oh God, the D&D character that Joe Consumer would play.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
You think our character creation sessions are a mess? You wait till everyone meets O'Donovan. I mean, you think our character creations are a mess?
You will have to wait, because like God knows when we're going to actually get to that. Our viewers won't know what we're talking about. That's how far ahead of ourselves we are.
You people need 14 episodes of backstories before you get to that point.
Oh yeah. Don't skip our character creation sessions. They're like this, just marginally more same.
Well, yeah, because you actually have something to get through. Oh, you had something to get through. No, they're about the same.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
that was worth waiting till the end with.
It was
brilliant.
Go out on a high. Go out on a high.
Like we said at the start with your best, end with your second best.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm a student of these things. I know what's what. Anyway, I'm going to round things off there for us. Thank you for joining me tonight, Dudley. It's been hilarious.
Lovely. I
need to get on and pack away my streaming setup and do things to my cardboard Taylor Swift. But
careful you don't take off her heels. You might make a discovery you don't like.
You have to take them off with scissors. Is a weird thing.
Well, that's why she'll be 3 inches shorter, certainly.
Does that? Is she technically still 5'10" then?
I don't know. I didn't put that much thought into this throwaway joke, and I would like to get out of it if that's all right. Thank you, please.
No, I'm going to take us straight onto an end screen, which I don't even know if it fits for this stream. But whatever. It's tired. I need a cup of coffee. I'm starving, hungry, and we're both up. Well, we're both up past Dudley's bedtime. I'll be lucky if I get to bed before 3 o'clock. We hope it's been fun, guys.
So they can all find out what the Gramtech instant is.
Was there an incident that involved the Gramtech?
You've now got me questioning what that series was called.
Dudley,
don't do that to me.
It's 3 months ago. Away. Don't give the game away. It's supposed to be a big surprise. All right, I'm going to wind things up down there. Thanks for watching, guys. We hope this has given you all a chuckle. It's certainly been good for my soul. And we'll catch you on the other side. Cheerio.